Hey everyone, good morning. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing today? Hope you've all had a good week so far, halfway through it. I'm going to bring us down an interesting road today, so I hope you are all buckled up. If you are a tinfoil hat wearer, please double tinfoil it because it is going to get interesting. But how's everybody doing? Hey, Tammy, Lovey, Lori, Kraken, Money Moves, Weezer, Darling Tammy, Kathy, Lana Kay, Colleen, Jammers, Steph, Seeker, Jen, Opal, Janet, Jason, Stassi. Good morning, Angel Sleuth. Good morning, good morning. Happy Beach, Tennessee Mama, Goody Two Shoes, Queen Bella, Red, KT, Forever Army, Mama Gladiator, Kels. Yay, Amy. I feel like it's been forever. And Crime Brulee, you as well. Hey, girls. He-Man, Beautiful Sunflower, Pearl for Mom, Pam, Keisha, how you doing? Cheryl, slow low. I keep saying, I don't know why. Solo, Donna, Tori, Amber. I went to Costco. Weezer, Galactic Shrimp. That is quite an interesting one. Hey, Remy, Kimmy, Crystal, Andy. Please remember to hit the thumbs up on your way in, my friends. Titanium Built, Billy. I waited all day. Yeah. Yesterday ended up being such a shit day for me. It was bad. I was also a little bit in my feels. So, hey, Rockabit, Constance, Betty Boop. You are here on time, my friend. Hey, Jane, Jen. I already said hi to you, but hi again. Hey, Shelly, PJ. So, this is going to be interesting because there's a few reasons. Hey, Marshall. Yeah. And then today's like rainy, so it's even more shitty. And I feel like it's that time for me. So I'm like really, I don't know, sensitive, if you will. Hey, Sarah Wood. Hey, Jay Fox. Real Talk with Jake. I'm innocent. Okay. I'm innocent too. New kid in town. Good morning. Hey, Jude. Hey, Jude. So we are going to, I'm going to highlight a few things because I'm really sick of it personally. And others claim to be sick of it, but I don't believe they're sick of it. I think a lot of people are really loving this right now. And it really, really makes me sad. Hey, Maya. Your PDF came in such great use. I can't thank you enough for doing that. Really means a lot. So thank you. Thank you for the time and effort you put into that. Yeah, Rockabit, I am. I'm very frustrated. Hey, Huntress. Poetic Justice, Trish. I'm all the things. Whatever. I'm not even going to get into all of that. But what I am going to get into. Oh, are you, Andy? Stay safe, my friend. Since when do they go left and not right? Hey, Red Sky. I've never experienced one, so I don't know. So what I noticed is there's been a lot of us first them mentality. There's been a lot of that. And I feel like that is done with such intent. You know why? Because it builds a connection, right? You're all part of the good fight. It is such a think of sports, think of politics as a way to make you feel like you belong, as a way to keep the energy going. And I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing a lot of that. And it's a shame because it shouldn't be. And I know people are like, well, you played a part of it. No, really, I didn't. Really, I didn't. I've never ever dismissed somebody because they disagree with me. I've never had my eyes closed to all quote unquote sides. I tried to go into different chats that are pro Proudfoots, and the only one who has ever accepted me was the lab because I want to see all sides. I want to hear all sides. But you know who doesn't? Those who are profiting off of the us first them mentality. They don't want to. The minute you enter one of their chats, you're a hater, you're vile, you're disgraceful, you're all these things. And you know why? Because it fucking sells. That's why. It sells. So that's the narrative these people have put forth, and you have to ask yourselves why. And I'll tell you why again, because it fucking sells. That's the only reason. I'm hearing, it really broke my heart the other day because Pearl Girl's opinion went up on a panel. And, she originates, I believe, from Jay's. So she doesn't know different channels do different things. But she's been a member to my channel. She's been a member over at Queen's channel. She's been a member for quite a few months. Well, she went on panel, she said some things, and it made the chat go wild. The chat went wild at her. And I understood why they were upset. What I didn't understand was the people saying she was there to create a distraction. Has everybody gone that far with their conspiracies that you think people are being sent in to derail something? I kept saying, derail from what? Playing a clip? What is she derailing from? But that's what you all have been fed. You have been fed that people are coming in to derail, and that people are coming to take people down, and it's not true. It's not real. It's in their heads. Because it sells. It creates a us first them mentality. Real Talk with Jade, welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. It's more than Fruit Loose jammers, and I can't stand it. The conspiracies are out of control. I mean, look, we witnessed a woman literally go off the edge from thinking of the conspiracies. Yeah, a distractor. Somebody kept saying I was in Justin's to get content. You think if I wanted to anything from Justin to be content, I would have been dragging him like the people I'm associated with have for fucking months, if not years. What kind of content do I need from Justin? Have any of you seen me pull up any of these other people that disagree with me's content and scream how wrong they are? Have you seen me do that? What kind of asinine fucking remark is that? Oh, you need Justin for content. I could drag Justin from here to there off the shit he spreads. How dare you insinuate I'm there for content? I'm there to open my fucking mind. Because the fact of the matter is, we don't know these parents. And if you think for 1 minute, just because you're a YouTuber or, because they think you're nice, that if you think for 1 minute that either side, either set of parents are going to be honest with you, you're a damn stranger. But you're a stranger with a YouTube channel that can push their agendas. That's it. They're not going to tell you if they did something to this boy. They're going to put on their best foot forward because they need you to go out there and tell everybody what a great person they are. And the fact that so many believe it, and we're all out here fighting for these parents that, quite honestly, look at the fucking paperwork. They all failed in one way or another. But they got all of us at each other's throats, right? Huntress, thank you for coming a member. I was asked last night in chat if I abused my child too, because I said I do not believe Seth did anything to Sebastian. Nicole, I'm really sorry that was said to you. That's the shit I'm talking about. And when Betty said that to somebody else because they disagreed that Chris Proudfoot abused Sebastian, she was responded with the same type of response, right? Oh, you must beat your kid. You must have anger issues. And everybody was outraged. But then we sit there and we sit with people that would say it to another person because they're on the quote unquote other side. So there's a few things I'm going to show you all today because I do believe it is agenda driven. Who keeps saying that? Crime Relay, I keep hearing about that, and I'm so over that shit too. The only people I expect any sort of loyalty from, with utmost respect, are my moderators because I consider them friends. Outside of that, I don't give a shit where a chatter goes. I mean, I might side-eye you if I see you in a chat where I'm being trashed. I ain't gonna lie, I'm human. But to gatekeep where people go or talk down on them, whatever, the shit's tiresome. And if you don't think I'm aware that everybody's schedules are changing and it's just so fucking convenient, I'm not an idiot. I'm tired of the shit. I'm not going to lie. I'm tired of the shit. It's like you either get real fucking vile and you start screaming filth or I get tied in with association, right? Oh, well, you're part of the hate channels. But I don't say no hateful shit. I'm probably one of the only people that sat over here the entire time saying I don't like Seth as a person, but that don't mean he's guilty. I'm over it. Katie and Chris just seem the lesser. They do seem the lesser of evil, but you know why, Maya? You do know why, because you put it together. Because they've spoken less, right? I mean, we can all agree that Seth Rogers is a very dislikable person. Like, he's not very likable, but it still doesn't make him guilty. So I'm going to show you a few things because I feel like these things are very important. We're going to take a trip back, all thanks to Maya. I have no problem giving you the credit, Maya. Thank you very much for taking Bodhi's, whatever that thing's called, and adding to it, making it easier for all of us to look and read. I really appreciate that. So let's start off here. Who remembers this moment in time? This is right after we saw the photo of Chris and Seth talking. Of course, from a certain angle, it looked like Chris was ganging up on poor Seth, and that's what they ran with until Seth came out and opened up his mouth. Made it very clear that's not what was happening. So let's hear from the man himself.
You can go check it out. So without further ado on that, let me pull this up and let y'all just, give it a listen.
Me and Chris are putting our differences aside. It's not about our egos. It's about finding Sebastian. Me, Chris, and Katie will begin working together.
Anybody remember this? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember this moment. I can't help but feel like certain creators are trying to get others to be on. That's why TikTok people. Yeah, well, listen, I don't know. I have a motto: no new friends. I'll tell you what. Every time you open yourself up as a creator and you start associating with people, it never works out well. It's a shame. It's a shame. There's a lot of people I truly like. What I really don't like, and I've always spoken up when it was done to the quote unquote other side, is putting people together as a whole. That's what I don't like. One of Seth's friends took that pic Chris' truck and wanted the narrative spread that he was berating Seth. See? Why am I not surprised, Trevor Lee? But Seth himself came out and said he wasn't. That he simply Chris saw Seth pulled over there having truck trouble, and Chris stopped and asked if he needed help. Yeah, you did amazing. You did absolutely amazing. Thank you for doing that. And thank you for linking Bodhi's. It really helped a lot. Hey, Elser. Thank you. I hope you are as well. So we hear him here, right? This is going to get interesting. Just follow me. We're not going down a conspiracy hole. We don't need tinfoil hat today. I'm just going to show you straight up for the facts what it is.
And if everybody else could just fuck off.
Hey, serious.
And put your egos aside. Help us find our son.
Hold on,
Sebastian, egos aside. And if everybody else could just fuck off and put your egos aside, help us find our son.
Now, I remember after he said that, the world went nuts. I remember Pascal spiking up alive. I remember JLR spiking up alive and basically telling Seth that if he worked with the Proudfoots, people would want a refund from the GoFundMe. Anybody else remember that? Anybody?
Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is the goal of this shit.
This was April 20th.
If you can't get on that, get the fuck off.
Now, what happened, Seth? What happened to that attitude? Because you have single-handedly allowed every single clown you have invited into this circus to stand before your son. I was listening last night to Betty's body cam footage. Agree or disagree, I don't give a shit. But I was listening, and at one point, Betty says, "They've put me through hell." And you know what Seth says? "Not as much hell as they put me through." That was his response to his friend talking to police, where they've lied and said they were swatted, they were all these things. When Betty said they've put me through hell, I shit you not, Seth Rogers says, not as much hell as they put me through. And that's exactly it. Seth Rogers came in and he changed all of it. He made a public comment because Chris and Katie didn't want to work with him. His public comment where gloves were off. And since that day forward, they were off. And it's despicable.
All right. So you heard it.
You heard it. Fuck
He's
off.
not telling people.
Please. I appreciate everybody's support. Please, people, keep me son in your thoughts and prayers. Just need to find him. You know, his mama wants him back.
Let me fix my closed caption, because what you're going to hear here is his mama wants him back. His father wants him back. We'll keep it on red. Let's make it nice and big. I want everybody to hear this, because I want to know what changed.
You know, his mama wants him back. I want him back. His family needs him back.
Oh, you can't even hear it over the music. His mama wants him back. His papa wants him back. We want him back.
Keep your heads up and your eyes open.
And I love how everybody over there that supports Seth is calling the fucking Proudfoots fat.
Y'all share his poster. You can pull his poster off anywhere. And what I'll tell you that you can't tell because he's wearing glasses is that he was.
So that's that, right? Many of us remember that. Yeah, I remember it. Remember what came next, right? Shocking update. Seth Rogers and Proudfoot join forces.
Is it true that there was an exchange of heated words between you and Chris Proudfoot when he showed up? Is it true that there was a lot of people that have been very, very shocked?
There we go.
That is the goal.
That is the goal, my brother. Positive activity. A lot of people giving you prayers and hugs and just giving a lot of positive energy to Sebastian Rogers. And that is the main goal, right?
Hey,
Is
Thor.
finding Sebastian.
Hey, Electro. Hey,
So-
Renee.
That is the
Hey, what the
goal.
crap?
That is the goal, my brother. So can we talk about this? Because I know that there's been a lot of people that have been very, very shocked about this update, right? Now,
Shocked.
is it true that there was an exchange of heated words between you?
Why was everybody shocked? Because again, every good story to sell needs a villain and a hero. And at this point, Seth Rogers was the hero. Dog. You got that all wrong there, dog. Saying that Seth was immediately deemed guilty in the public eye. Oh, no, no, no. He was put on a damn pedestal. And the same people that put him on that pedestal were so quick to knock it under his feet when they thought that he was going to work with the Proudfoots. Why? Because there went their content. It's gross, all of it.
You and Chris Proudfoot when he showed up. Is that true?
No, he just came up and spoke. He had actually showed up earlier before before everybody showed up for the vigil. He showed up. He swung by. I had to put on my.
Did he just say no? There was no heated words? He just said it wasn't confrontation, though, Bug. He just said it himself. There was no heated words. Chris stopped over there because Seth was having car trouble. He's going to say it himself, though.
A truck popped, putting some windshield wiper fluid in there, and he swung by to see if I was having vehicle problems.
Mm-hmm.
What a demon. What an asshole. You stopped over to see if Seth Rogers was having car trouble? But you can make any picture look any way, though, Bug. I mean, with utmost respect, you look like a very mature woman. Surely you know by now how optics work, right? The same way commercials work. The same way I said the other day, if you put the horror music during certain scenes, the audience automatically gets tensed up and worried. I mean, it's all part of we all know how this works by now, I think.
So he came over
And
to,
then he came by.
yeah.
Hey, Heather.
Then he came by afterwards, right before the vigil started, to have a conversation with me.
Right.
And, just wanted to put stuff aside and work together to find Sebastian. I told him.
So Chris Proudfoot walked up to Seth Rogers to first help him with his truck. And then secondly, to say, let's put differences aside and work together to find Sebastian. We need to find Sebastian. How many times do you hear people say, if everybody could just work together, while feeding and creating a divide? Let's not forget, at this point in time, on the 20th of April, the three of them were going to put everything aside and work together. And you know who stopped that? Seth supporters. Seth supporters. And you're going to see it here.
That's all I want is to find Sebastian.
So he's the one who said, hey, we should align up. We should join forces and try to find Sebastian. Correct?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Bet. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. That's great news. That is great news.
That's fine with me. Let's do it.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
I see. So then, okay. So then let's talk about this video. Okay.
Yes, let's talk about it. Let's get down to his bread and butter, because you're fucking with it at this point. That's what he's saying. Hey, Miss Al.
Because it's blew up. It is blown up the internet overnight. Okay,
Imagine that.
I woke up this morning to
butter.
DMs, etc. With this, reacting to this video. Can you explain to me what's up? What happened? What was going on with this video?
Look how disappointed Pascal is. Look at him shaking his head. Look at him. Like, what were you doing?
Well, first of all, I don't have social media.
Right.
And so, about the only thing I hear is what other people be telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And besides all the spam.
What other people be telling me? Who be telling him things? I keep hearing this one fool over there talk about the way I talk. And I'll tell you this. At my ripe age and her ripe age of in our 30s, I've never once said we was at the park. Okay? Or because people be telling me things.
Stuff that's been coming in with people saying that they have my sons, which
Facts bug.
that takes a real particular disgusting piece of garbage to do that.
Right.
Wait, let's rewind it back because you're hard to hear. You're moving
People
around.
saying that they have my sons, stuff that's been coming in with people saying that they have my sons, which
with people saying they have my sons. This is I don't think that's what he's saying. That's what the subtitles say. I don't know why the options changed. What happened? Why they changed again? But I think that's what it transcribes him to saying. But again, as somebody who speaks broken English, they can't transcribe me either. So I don't know if that's what he's actually saying. It doesn't make sense. Sounds like he's saying something about signs.
Mm-hmm.
And besides all the spam stuff that's been coming in with people saying that they have my sons, which that takes a real particular disgusting piece of garbage.
Where the hell did it? Why does this keep happening? I'm sorry, guys. Hold on.
Here's what other people will be telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And besides all the spam stuff that's been coming in with people saying that they have my sons, which that
I don't know. Is he saying with people saying they have no signs, or with people saying they have my son? I don't know what he's saying. I think signs.
takes a real particular disgusting piece of garbage to do that.
Right.
Let's hit the thumbs up if you don't mind.
It just kind of gets on my nerves that people think it's a joke. Sit there and say that they have my kid.
Oh, so he is saying people are saying they have my son. Okay. It sounds like he says sons, though. And he just said again the other day, I have to protect my children. Sound like he had an S at the end of it. So I don't know. It's a little weird. Hey, Mental Block. Thank you again to everybody who's here this morning. It means a lot to me. Thank you. If you wouldn't mind, take the extra step to hit the thumbs up. I truly appreciate it. Hey, Newfie, Naomi, Catherine. And now we know he had a Facebook for years. Yep. I'm trying to, old crows, but he's like mumbling. He's doing other things as well. So it's kind of hard. It did sound like sons, didn't it? It did say, it sounded, I mean, they even say it on here as sons. Watch.
People say that they have my sons, which that takes a real particular disgusting piece of garbage to do that.
Yeah, hopefully
Right.
me too. Hey, Jake House.
You know,
Hey, Keto
just
Kim.
kind of gets on my nerves
Oh,
that
shit,
people
Sherry.
think it's a joke. Sit there and say that they have my kid.
Ah, okay.
Now Pascal just understood him
Yeah,
too.
And
the fake kidnapper and all the hoax, all the fake scamming that's been going on revolving around your son. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, that's just despicable,
I see.
in my opinion.
Yeah. You know, I get it. I get it.
I can't believe this man's on national air with a couple thousand people watching, and he doesn't even care to like turn off his radio and sit still and really talk. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just bothers me. All the background noise, all the moving about, the getting in his truck. Like, just relax for a minute.
And I get why you would say something like that,
Good morning,
because it
Snowflake.
wasn't directed towards the
Now,
people
first
who are
and
out here
foremost,
supporting. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Jake House, for becoming a member. Thank you. Hey, Snowflake. Death Grits. Lynn, Love, and Light, me too. Hey, Diana. So now he's going to explain where he says F you to the audience, because, man, people took that and they ran with it.
I appreciate everybody that is supporting me.
Mhm.
Anybody who has donated to the Cash App, to the GoFundMe, their time, their effort.
I find it a little ironic. I'm not going to lie. It's very telling what he chooses to thank for first. Hey, Trish, drive safely. I appreciate everybody who's donated to the Cash App and the GoFundMe. That comes first before those who've been boots on the ground searching. What mattered most? You know, when you make a list of things you're thankful for, right? What you think of first comes to your mind is what you're most grateful for. It's a little telling, to be honest. Hey, Connie, I hope you do as well. It's a little telling.
Out here
Foremost,
supporting. Go ahead.
I appreciate everybody that is supporting me.
Mhm.
Anybody who has donated to the Cash App, to the GoFundMe, their time, their effort to
Oh,
go out and pass out flyers in whatever town they're in, whatever state they're in, people that have traveled from other states to here to help pass out flyers.
I mean, do you guys see it that way as well? Oh, yeah, because at this point, like I said, Pascal was angry about it. JLR was angry about it. The audience was angry about it. And the very beginning, this is in April, the end of April, you have that side over there being angry that they're all going to work together. Why? Tell you why. Because it fucked with their content. Their content was anti-Proudfoot, with Seth coming up on panel and participating. And if they were going to all work together, well, one, they were either going to have to keep their anti-Proudfoot content and take the risk of losing Seth as a panel guest to offer views. You know, Seth also said some shit the other day during that police cam. I can't quote it verbatim, but he did say something like, and they were all angry I made my own YouTube channel because then I wasn't going to go on theirs. And I'm thinking, well, whose did you really go on? Those that were pushing your narrative. So your own people were angry that you made your own YouTube? Again, look around you, Seth. The people that have been getting in your head and feeding you this negativity and wanting to keep this fight going are the ones you're surrounded with. The ones that were angry you made a YouTube channel has to be the ones you were surrounded with, because you weren't coming on any quote unquote haters panels. So who else was angry?
100%. I appreciate you all 100%. All right. But these people that just don't understand
You're right, Joe.
that I want to find my son. And why people are sitting there trying to go, oh, we're Team Seth. Oh, we're Team Chris and Katie.
Wow. While people are sitting there going, oh, we're Team Seth. We're Team Chris. You know what I heard good old Tonester say during the police arrest footage as well? Was that we're on teams. To the point where the cop even compared it to the Karen Reed case. Teams. Again, Seth, who was causing you or I don't know, pushing you to have teams? This is back in the very beginning. This is when the narrative was set. These people want to sit over there and say that I'm a hate channel and I'm vile and I'm all these things. You're the one that is pushing this man to make himself a quote unquote team, an enemy of the woman that at one point he married and loved, so much so that all these years later, the only time we've genuinely seen him tear up is when he's remembering his wedding day. The people that if his son is found, and we pray to God safely, he will have to work with. It's your own people doing it to you, Seth. And at what cost? At the cost that one day will be your son that you have to answer to. That's one thing we heard SF say Katie said. SF said, I hope she doesn't get upset with me, but Katie told me when my son comes home, I'll be able to look him in his face and tell him it is not me that put your business out there, son.
Did you hear Sebastian?
Oh, B10, we're just revisiting back to the days of when the quote-unquote teams were created. Our first stop was pointing out where Seth and Chris spoke, and that photo went around that said, oh, Chris was bullying poor, security guard, deputy sheriff was being bullied by the optics of a photo and the direction in which it was taken, which Trevor Lee just confirmed. Seth's friend took that photo and was told to push it out and make it look like he was being bullied. And Seth says, going forward, we're going to work together for my son. And F you to anybody who disagrees. And he was immediately, Pascal, JLR, Dolly, all went live angry. And they started saying things like, people are going to want their money back. And ironically enough, when Seth is thanking everybody, first thing he says is, thank you for the GoFundMe and Cash App. Not thank you for looking for my son. Thank you for the GoFundMe and the Cash App. Send thank you so much. I just want to show everybody where this quote-unquote divide came from and why it's still being pushed and is being pushed for personal agendas. And I won't be convinced otherwise.
And Team Seth or Team Chris, and people are sitting there trying to go, oh, we're Team Seth. Oh, we're Team Chris and Katie. Did you hear Sebastian? And
do you want me to rewind it a little bit?
I get it. And I get why you would say something like that, because it wasn't directed towards the people who are out here supporting. Go ahead.
I appreciate everybody that is supporting me. Anybody who has donated to the Cash App, to the GoFundMe, their time, their effort to go out and pass out flyers.
You are absolutely welcome, Pearls Girl. And I have more to show about that. Everybody that is supporting me, anybody who has donated to the Cash App and GoFundMe, I mean, in his mind, supporting him was the money in the GoFundMe. But I digress. I mean, we all heard it. You guys can view, again, it's optics. View it how you want. I don't care. I think what's more important is all of this.
There's no Sebastian or Chris and Katie. Did you hear Sebastian and Team Seth?
I'm so sorry. Sen, thank you for becoming a member. I'm so sorry. I highlighted it and got distracted. I apologize. Thank you so much. Welcome. Welcome to the MFers.
And why people are sitting there trying to go, oh, we're Team Seth. Oh, we're Team Chris and Katie. Did you hear Sebastian and Team Seth or Team Chris and Katie?
Right.
No, matter of fact, I didn't hear Sebastian at all when I heard Tony telling the officer about the sides. When I heard Betty say, they've been giving me hell, you responded with, not as much hell as they're giving me. When you claimed that the audience that YouTube was doxing you as a public, high-profile case father who came out here with the username of Seth Rogers, Sebastian Rogers' father, when that lady over there that nobody's ever heard of was saying she's been swatted, first time I heard of any swatting going on. And then Seth responds with, well, it's a good thing you weren't swatted while at home playing video games with a headphone on. I got blackout curtains. Would have never saw them coming. TTT Sharon with the 1 month membership. Thank you so much. That's 500. I'd like to get back. Damn, you gave 500. Bless your heart.
There's no Sebastian in Team Seth or Team Chris and Katie.
And
you
none
know?
of the people you're
Yeah.
surrounded
It's
with want there to
disgusting.
be a Sebastian.
We have
Okay.
a 15-year-old child that's missing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's this Seth at? Where'd he go? Because we're now 7 months in, and again, every character Seth has brought into his team has put themselves before Sebastian. Sandy Byrne, it's kind of just okay. I can see where you got there because Dog called him Sean, and then Dog called Sebastian Nicholas. But with utmost respect, I really just think it's the fact that I don't think that's it. I'll be honest. I don't think that's it. I think it's the fact that Dog is here for nothing more than his dog cast and didn't care enough for this case or this missing child to get the names correct. 90-day probation period completed. Now you can go ahead and get short-term disability. Pooh Bear, I don't care for Pascal. Yeah, I just want to point out where the change took place and why it was more profitable for YouTubers to keep a divide between these parents than for everybody to come together for Sebastian. And we see you over there suddenly saying things like, if everybody just worked together, but unfortunately, if they're saying sides, everybody on this side, and unfortunately, that's just what it is. No, you've been doing this since day one, creating a divide. Part of the people here that he's talking about. Everybody wants to be Team Seth or Team Chris and Katie. Where's Sebastian? You're part of that. Stop repeating what I'm saying and thinking people aren't picking up on it. I've always said I feel like you just kind of like it puts the lotion on the skin, but let's get back into it.
His son is missing. Katie's son is missing.
Katie's son
Absolutely.
is missing.
Now,
All right.
But there has been a lot of groundwork over the past 50 some odd days that has been splitting the room for a little while.
Sure has
So
been.
what do you say about that? Because yes,
Nicholas.
you guys are joining forces, but a little bit ago.
That's just my broken English there, my I was shocked at how Seth was joking with the cop with dirty joke while he was off camera. And then on camera he acts all sad. I also find it interesting how Tony and Seth are so manipulative. So do I. Thank you so much, B-Tim. So joining forces, but a little bit ago, this is where Pascal was like, well, wait a minute. You had me pushing anti-Proudfoot agenda.
It was a different tune.
Don't worry,
You
Chris.
see what I'm saying? So I can understand
play it for you.
where people are feeling a little bit like, whoa, what happened here? You see what I'm saying? So what do you have to say about that?
Some people may be feeling whoa, like whoa.
Right.
Whoa. That was kind of funny.
There's a song. But I'm not.
Well, what is the song? Tell us the song. Like, whoa, that song? Seriously, didn't Robin come out the gate in the very beginning blaming Proudfoot? Yeah. Do you think Steph's own family used Steph's emotion to get this narrative out? I think, I'll be honest with you, I don't think it was to get a narrative out. I think there's been a lot of resentments. Hey, Spitfire. I think Seth's family backed up Seth on the fact that his nuclear family was destroyed. His nuclear, he says that. That Katie had an affair with Chris and then left Seth. I feel like they just didn't like Katie. So I feel like when this took place, it fed all of that, right? Now imagine any of you. Do you have, in-laws you don't get along with, exes? Are you no longer with the parent of your child? Imagine if you were in this situation and it happened on their watch and you already didn't like them. You already have resentments. I could absolutely see me being like, yeah, exactly, Mia. Man, I'll tell you. Remembered he only had his son 4 days a month. That's right, Stephanie. That's true.
Out there. I can't remember the song, but I know there's a song.
He knows every song.
My hip hop days are coming back.
Yeah.
Exactly, Amy, because
it's
she's
like, whoa, yeah, I got you.
Exactly, Amy. You know why they're not saying it over there? Because they're part of the damn problem. Because she's one of the people he initially was saying F you to. That's why. But now she's part of the very, very small group of special people that are allowed to have one-on-one connections. Ooh, we're all so jealous of that.
It's like, whoa, yeah,
Yep.
there it is. Like he who has never sinned, throw the first rock.
Hey, Mal. Good morning. Hey, Divine.
Okay.
What do you say?
Let he who has never sinned throw the first rock.
Let he who has never sinned throw the first rock. You did throw the first rock, and you did sin. Because we're going to get to the part where your own mother acknowledges the age. Short-term use supposedly due to an ankle injury. If you try to envision the way that ankle injury even happens, it just can't happen. It just can't happen. Like, it doesn't, like, try to envision it. It doesn't add up to me. But thank you, Snazzy.
Okay. Okay.
Pascal's like, stop with the
I'm a
riddles.
sinner.
Oh, you know you're a sinner. In what way?
I'm here. I
You're-
have sinned.
What are your sins? Confess, son.
I will say though,
Chris
too.
was big enough man to come and ask me, I'm big enough man to sit there and say, if you're going to help, come help.
So Chris was a big enough man to come to you and ask you to cut out this shit. And you were a big enough man to say, okay, until you saw the internet tides turning. Because as I said before, and I'll say it again, Seth seems to care more about the public perception of him than he does what the police want him to do. That's something to be proud of, my opinion, part of the team. Oh, I agree, WinTube. I agree. I think it tells us a lot, doesn't it? And, I hear these things like, oh, they're being paid by the Proudfoots. They're being paid by the Proudfoots. But how quickly they get angry when you turn around and say the same thing about them. Are you projecting when you say that shit? Are you doing that? Is that projection? Why do people have to be getting paid? Are you getting paid? We saw for beating up the B-Sox. We heard Tony say, I will, throw you a little. Anybody ever see the Proudfoots come in a chat and throw a super sticker? Anybody? That is called paying. If I see you doing a good job, we'll throw you a super sticker. What's a good job? Pushing your agenda? What's a good job? Saying Katie's fake crying, how she gained so much weight, how she's living her best life. What is that? Ridiculous.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
How many challenges will God give me before he gives me my son?
Hopefully not many, but you also got to remember that he's here. I mean, God is present. He is there for you.
Yes.
And maybe,
but he's also watching to see how I react. He's
True.
watching to see
He's not the only one watching. He does, Genevieve. He does. They are being paid. They are. He admitted it. Maybe they're not being paid behind the scenes through Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. But I mean, actually, they are, because we've seen it. Beating up the B-Sox. Go get yourself a steak. 1 second. I don't got time for your games today, Missy. I don't got time for it, okay? You stop it. You stop it, pretty girl. Beating up the bee socks like, whoa.
He's watching to see if I'm going to handle the troubles that he's given me.
I agree, Red Sky. Oh, that's what God's waiting to see. Lord have mercy. Hey, just Samantha. Blessed be
I see
the
what you're
fruit.
saying.
I don't. Do you really, Pascal? Don't lie. No,
Listen.
we don't.
I understand where you're coming
He's
from.
done what he's done.
Right.
She has done what she has done. I have done what I have done.
He has done what he has done. She has done what she has done. I've done what I have done. What the fuck have you three done? Because at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out that all three parents were aware and know what happened to Sebastian Rogers. Sorry, I would not be shocked. And I hate to admit that. Just like, could I befriended him? Absolutely. There's so many things that could have happened. Where's our neighbor friend, Brittany? Where you been, Brittany? I'm still waiting on the proof of your claims.
Nobody's perfect. You're right. You're right. And you got to
We're
move.
not perfect.
Hey, Violet.
Right.
At the same point in time, you know, we're going to hold another vigil in 2 weeks.
No, we don't know.
Are they going to be there?
Right now, I'm working.
Are they going to be there? Is your son going to be found? Nobody else finds it weird that these people are planning these events weeks out? Why? How do you know? Oh, Tashi, thank you for asking your honest question. I'll tell you why. Because I'm tired of people claiming they don't want there to be quote unquote sides, but pushing sides. So I'm taking us back to the beginning when Seth Rogers here himself said he was going to work with the Proudfoots and pointing out who stopped that from happening. Who created that? Who fed that? Who kept it going? That's why. Maybe if you, I don't know, go back and revisit maybe a little bit from the beginning, you'll understand where I'm coming from. But I think it's very crucial to see from the very start, Seth has placed himself above what would have been best for his son. That's all.
That's the thing. I think the
Right
problem
now-
is, Seth, can I just say something
And
really
it's
quick?
hopefully going to be yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I think what the general consensus is
The green
is
team.
how they have been moving around here lately. It's their actions that are speaking way louder than their words. And let's not forget the words that have been said, that have been back and forth, that have been, they've been caught in not telling the full truths. There's been.
I wish Pascal would elaborate, right? Because not telling the full truths. The only thing I recall changing was the fact that she said she heard a sound turn to the sound was described as a thud, right? That's the only thing I recall changing. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to go listen to the quote unquote other side because they've already demonized, not welcome. That's fine because they want this divide. But listen to Pascal here telling Seth and reminding Seth why he shouldn't work with the Proudfoots. Because don't think for 1 minute that Pascal isn't doing this with intent to remind Seth of why people take issue with it. Their actions speak a lot. Their actions, they weren't even being seen in the public. So what actions? What actions?
In contradictions, so on and so forth. But most importantly, it's been the actions of their actions speaking way louder than their words. So I can see why people are
And I
feeling
understand that
100%. A little
100%.
bit some type of way about this. Okay.
They're feeling some type of way about this, Seth. And you better understand that because these people have financially supported your ass. And if you keep it up, they're going to want refunds. Because I promise you, that is what these three creators, JLR, Dolly, and Pascal, went live saying. Basically telling their audience that it'd be okay to ask for refunds because they felt betrayed. Because again, it would have hurt their content. And it wasn't even but later that day that Seth was back up there trashing the shit out of the Proudfoots because it was more beneficial to him. Not Sebastian, but to him.
I understand that.
You know,
actions speak louder than words, Pascal.
absolutely. They most
But
definitely
everybody
do.
deserves a chance.
Your words speak really loud, Seth Rogers.
Everyone does deserve a chance. And again, this could very well, I'm going to be real. I'm going to keep it really real. Like I said it right before you called. That
Bug, can you tell me where I can find that? Can I ask your thought on CP saying special not be found? I don't think that was his exact comment, but it was said. Can you tell me where it was said? Because I've yet to find it. I've looked all over, high and low, and I've yet to see anywhere. So I can't find it. Can you direct me to it? And I'm not saying that to like try to play you or anything. I'm being genuine. I would love to know where this was said and why people go around repeating these things without any proof they were actually said. For example, when Chris said this will be a case that would be studied for years, you know what Chris really said? The police said this will be a case studied for years. I'm not verbatim it, but I'll find it after I'm done with this clip.
this could well be the miracle that you've been maybe looking for and hoping for. Maybe this alliance will get us closer to finding Sebastian for sure. That's without a shadow of a doubt. You see what I'm saying? So I'm really hoping.
That's what I am hoping for.
That's what I'm hoping
I'm
for.
hoping that by working together, we can find Sebastian. You know, there was two people in that house. Sebastian and Katie.
Yep.
Only those two people was there to help me try to find Sebastian. Then so be it.
Absolutely, Bug. If one, I don't even know.
Gotcha.
So be it.
Let me get.
I got you, man.
I want my son back. And of all things, we get judged when we're no longer here. When our time has come, we will be judged.
Right.
The fuck are you talking about, Seth?
No doubt. No doubt.
What does that even mean?
Listen.
At any point in time.
Hey, lip locked. What does that even mean? We will be judged when our time's no longer. We will be judged. You'll be judged for right here, right now, too. What does that mean? Another chat for asking, didn't he fall asleep during the lie detector? Well, he did. He did fall asleep.
I'm in this world, a person can come to the realization that maybe, just maybe, they need to change. You cannot force a person to change. Only a person can change for themselves.
What is all of this da-da-da-da shit? What is all this, Google quote shit? What is he saying?
Those are facts.
Oh, not quite.
I will say this, though. I mean, at the end of the day,
I pray.
If all day. Okay, just to make it today. I say we pray. But I think it's very important.
Is it, Tashi? I thought this was last night. This is from months ago? Holy shit. Wow, what am I doing? I thought this was just last night. Whew, silly me.
That
have you hit the thumbs up,
if it
Tashi?
means that you have to set aside your differences and this alliance does what it does, I guess everybody will be watching, right? And hoping and praying that this turns into something that's productive.
No way. They had a 3-way call and it wasn't recorded. No way. Come on.
Not only just for yourself, that relieves some of this tension off of you as well, but also helps find Sebastian for sure. But I think at the end of the day, it was really, end of the day, it is really just how the message was sent out there. And I get what you're saying now. You've clarified a good portion of that. And hopefully the court of public opinion will be okay with it and they'll be able to move on and we'll,
The court of public opinion. This is where he should have spoke up and said, I don't give a shit about the court of public opinion. I care about my son. But he won't. Thank you, Southern Sassafras. To quote Pascal, I'm side-eyeing all 3 parents because they've all said some sketchy stuff. But Pascal's full of shit because he was pushing anti-Proudfoot agenda.
I've moved on.
Hey,
I know where you're coming from. I absolutely understand where you're coming from, for sure.
No, you don't. Shut up.
But I know that there's people that feel some type of way.
What Justin waited to show at the very end was what I actually had stated before that.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
At the very.
But I know
this is where he's saying the video was swapped. His own people put the video out backwards. Got it.
that there's people that feel some.
He told you all to fuck off after he did the whole his mama's missing him thing. What happened, Seth, that you now don't believe his mama's missing him? Did you allow people to get in your ear? Thank you. He sure was.
Type of way.
Justin waited to show at the very end was what I actually had stated before that,
CP stopped that, did he? How did he stop it?
which was me telling him.
How did Chris Proudfoot stop it when Chris Proudfoot is the one that approached him and asked him to stop and for them all to work together? How did Chris Proudfoot stop it? Because it was Seth that was later this night up on panels trashing the Proudfoots again, because again, the public was angry at him. They wanted refunds, and the money meant more to Seth Rogers than the deal he just made with the parents that he got along with until he entered the public arena and realized that him being out here and spreading bad narratives against Katie and Chris was a moneymaker for him.
Everybody, I appreciate everybody who showed up. I appreciate everybody who was helping. I really do. I appreciate it 100%. I appreciate all who are helping me. I appreciate all who are going to help me. I appreciate everybody who's working to bring Sebastian back to me.
Yeah.
Because that's the goal. But if
Isn't that a round of applause? What you just said right there is what you should have meant from your soul and kept with going forward. You shouldn't have cared what the public opinion thought, but you did.
you're not going to be on Team Sebastian,
Team Sebastian.
Kick Rocks, as
Kick
my PR person said, I need to
Oh, is that what your PR person said? Kick Rocks.
stop cussing.
Your PR peen show in person told you to stop cursing?
Or as she said, stop using such colorful language.
Right.
Oh, colorful language.
Yeah.
Like this type of colorful language. Ah, I'm not done. Don't interrupt. That type.
Well, that's really part of me. So
That's really part
as
of
she
you.
has asked me to,
Oh, she. This is this is when he was working with actual credentialed people. My bad.
you can kick rocks
Not
if you're
Tony.
not on Team Sebastian. You're either part of the solution or
Yeah.
you're the problem.
This is when he wasn't.
I get what
working
you're
with-
saying, man.
with Tony. This before Tony came in. So you're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. Why are you feeding the problem?
I do. I think that there are people, and there's
Why
going
is
to be
it turned
people
on?
that are going to feel some type of way, and they're going to have to,
Just me,
process
okay.
this and move forward from this point on. I think what is more important than ever is how the Proudfoots operate from this point on. 'Cause
Why do you think that's the most important, Pascal? The most important for what? For what? The public perception? I mean, generally I'm asking all of you because I know we can all say we don't care what people think about us, but we do. Human nature. I certainly care what people think of me. But do I care more about what people think about me than I do my own children? No. How many of you would care more for the public perception of you than the well-being of your child? I doubt many. It's weird.
Because you got to remember, it's been almost 2 months,
2 months.
since he's been
2
gone.
months.
And the thing is, though, we have not seen one moment of them lifting a finger. So I think that people are feeling upset and surprised because they haven't done anything out here. You've been
Out here in these streets, right, Pascal? Out here. Again, I don't know if it's because we're so often on social media that we think if it's not on social media, it doesn't happen. But the Proudfoots have done everything Ellie has wanted them to do from the very beginning. Ellie themselves have said they have cooperated from the very beginning. Just because we don't see them doing things doesn't mean they're not doing things.
doing a lot of the heavy lifting and a lot of the speaking for the most part. And I think a lot of people are feeling like,
I've got a
okay,
lot of great
okay.
volunteers, but
But I feel like
Not to interrupt, but
yeah, but
I've
hold
got
on.
I've got a lot of great volunteers that have been doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Absolutely. But
He's right there telling you himself he's not doing any heavy lifting. The volunteers are. What are you talking about? And how don't they know if the Proudfoots had volunteers doing heavy lifting for them as well? It wasn't safe for them at that time. It just wasn't safe. So maybe they had other people out there. Alabama Mama, Grady, I watch you line your miss. This is really such a beautiful comment. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
you are also spearheading this entire search, etc.
What?
Right?
Bullshit.
It's you, not the three of you guys. Now, I'm happy.
I know you respectfully disagree, Penny, because I already know where you're coming from. I want to know this, though, Penny, because, well, they didn't have a GoFundMe, right? So, unfortunately, they had to go back to work because you can't hand in a missing child poster to your bill collectors. They don't give a shit, right? So, Chris had to leave because he had to go to work because, unfortunately, bills still go on. Was Katie supposed to stay there alone with all these threats and all these people coming and all these drones over her house and the potential that there was a kidnapper that stole her son? Was she supposed to feel safe in that house at night? Would you feel safe in that house at night? And I think people always forget this too. They didn't just up and leave. They had their parents staying nearby and keeping an eye out. So it's not like if Sebastian came back, you know what I mean? Would I have left? I can't say. I'd like to say no, I wouldn't have left. I'm going to stay there and I'm going to wait for my child to walk through that door. You couldn't drag me out of that house. But talking realistically, I can't tell you what I would have done.
Because I've even said this on many times before, that there should be a united front. You guys should set your differences aside and join forces and be done with this. But that should have happened. This is what I think I feel like this is what the court of public opinion feels, that this should have happened a long ass time ago.
What, 2 months ago, Pascal? Before you made it your content to bash the Proudfoots? And before you had Seth on your panel to bash the Proudfoots? Because now what? He's taken away your opportunity at content?
And now suddenly they want to join forces. So I can see some people side-eyeing this movement as some sort of tactic because they realize how bad they are looking out here in these streets. So
you know what that statement just told me? How damn fucking unaware people are. Tells me they realize how bad they are looking out here in these streets. Their son is missing. Their 15-year-old child is missing. You think they gave a shit what YouTube had to say? Is that how low or egotistical you are? That you would care more about YouTube streets talking than you would the possibility of finding your child? What Pascal is doing here is he is trying so hard to get Seth to understand why it's a bad idea to work with the Proudfoots, and it worked. Congratulations, Pascal, it worked. And when it got so damn bad, what did Pascal do? He ran. Why'd you run, Pascal? You sure had no problem pushing this agenda. And when the shit really got hot, Pascal ran from these streets, didn't he?
We join with the good side. We join with the Rogers, where everyone is standing in solidarity and rooting him on. If we get with them, with
the Proudfoots didn't need shit from any of you. They weren't out here asking for your money. They weren't out here asking for anything except for keep their son out there. Matter of fact, I recall. Nobody ever talks about this. I recall Chris Proudfoot saying, I don't care what the public thinks of me. They can say whatever they want, so long as it keeps Sebastian's name and face out there. Again, I'm not going to pretend, I'm not going to be a fake Christian out here like a lot of these people and use God. But there is a Bible story, I recall, with the two mothers and the child. And that's what this situation reminds me of. I feel like the Proudfoots day would have turned into a Quentin Simon or Brian laundry scene. Of course it would have, Snazzy. You're so right. They weren't out of there. And at this point, you had binocular Bobby neighbor over there complaining about traffic, saying the neighborhood's just trying to move on. Penny, with utmost respect, that was stupid of you to do. And I'm not saying that to berate you or belittle you, but if the police tell you to leave, it's for a reason. I don't know. Congratulations.
Him will be under the same positive light now. You see what I'm saying? So I could see where some people are looking at this and going, oh, they're going to use Seth. They're using him, man. They're using him, bro.
I agree.
Thank
Some
you.
people are going to look at that, but what I'm looking at is the fact that I'm always under scrutiny.
Yeah.
What they need to realize, if they're joining this team, they're going to be under scrutiny as well.
Now, you just heard Pascal say how the whole internet thinks the Proudfoots are so bad, right? Oh, absolutely, Brittany. I haven't seen you. I didn't know where you were. So you just heard Pascal say that the whole internet thinks the Proudfoots are doing nothing. And they think by teaming up with Seth. And what does Seth do? The same thing he did to Betty when she was being freaking arrested, man. Betty's being arrested and says, they put me through hell. And Seth goes, not as much hell as they put me through. Eeyore, nobody likes me. So here you have Pascal telling you the internet hates the Proudfoots. He's like, well, if they join my team, I thought there weren't teams. Seth, I thought it was only Team Sebastian. What happened?
Some people are going to look at that, but what I'm looking at is the fact that I'm always under scrutiny.
Yeah.
I don't
What
know.
they need to realize, if they're joining this team, they're going to be under scrutiny as well. It's not going to stop just because they're on. They're it's going to double down. It's hard work. It's boots on the ground.
It's hard work. It's boots on the ground. Okay. The one video we saw you boots on the ground, you were telling JLR Magnolia, make sure they get the scene where your shoulder's being massaged, right?
It's
Oh,
speaking
boy.
for Sebastian, not speaking down about Sebastian.
What? Is that what Chris just said to you the other day? Tell me he's not repeating something Chris said. It's not speaking for Sebastian. It's speaking, I'm sorry, it is speaking for Sebastian, not speaking down about Sebastian. How do you like that? Who have you all saw or heard speaking down on Sebastian? Well, usually if the police ask you to leave, it's because they don't want the incident to get worse. I don't care what it sounds like to you, Tony Fire. Why don't you listen with unbiased ears and hear what we're really saying, Tony? Because that's been my entire point right here. Point in case right here is Tony's comment. Sounds like you're sucking up to the Proudfoots. I think you're going to get a big surprise, and then we'll come tell us still how wonderful they are. Respectfully disagree with your opinion. Do you know what my opinion is? Why don't you type that out next to see if you even know what my opinion is? I'll wait for your next comment so you can tell me what my opinion is, because I don't think you've been in here or listened long enough to know what it is.
And if they don't realize that, that's on them.
Right.
I mean, I'm not defending them at all.
Congratulations, Pascal. You did it.
Yeah.
But I am willing to let somebody come in and show their worth. Period.
Okay.
You're going to let them come in and show their worth. Sounds like this was really with the intent of Sebastian in mind. Sure.
Well, Seth, listen.
And I just want my son found.
I'm hoping.
Facts,
I really
Luna.
do hope that this
Great question,
alliance, this new joining of forces, I pray and I hope that this does nothing but give you exactly what you need to get to Sebastian.
This new force. What, doing adult things, Pascal? Is that what you're talking about? Because again, when they first came out here, Seth was saying how Chris was also Sebastian's father. The Proudfoots were saying what a great father Seth is, and they have maintained that. Despite everything, 7 months in, all the negativity spewed about them from Seth Rogers, they have still not spoken badly about him. And that speaks volumes. But you know what? It's not what people want to hear. So they ignore it. They act like it doesn't exist.
Period, point blank. I just want to say that really quick, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what the people out here in these streets think. It's about what you guys do out there in these streets. So I think
about what we do.
Exactly.
Really, Pascal, because you just spent at least 15 minutes trying to convince him otherwise.
So I think what's going to happen is we're just going to sit back and we just got to see how the Proudfoots operate with Mr. Seth Rogers. That's what I think.
And that was the problem. We have to see how the Proudfoots operate with Seth. When Seth came back that night and was back on social media, trashing the Proudfoots after shaking their hands and agreeing to work together, nobody pointed that out because it's what they wanted. Because the divide keeps people feeling part of, and it keeps the content going.
I hope that this works. I hope that this works out, and I hope that this is not an opportunity for them to get back in the good graces of the streets.
Pascal, you should be a lot more mature than this. Honestly. You just said it doesn't matter what the streets think, and then you say it's an opportunity for them to get back in the good graces of the streets. Grow the fuck up. Again, I don't know if people forgot, we're talking about a 15-year-old child who disappeared. You did say that, Bert. Bert, you didn't say he threatened you. You said he knocked at your door.
I'm going to be real. So I just say,
I mean, we want to talk about distractions.
Hey,
Let's be honest, Pascal.
Go ahead.
If they're doing it for that, it's going to come back twice, if not 3 times.
Yeah.
Harder. I'm praying that that's not what they're doing, but I'll tell you what, I just want to find Sebastian.
No doubt, man. I'm with you 100%.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're with the bullshit. You're with the good guy, bad guy narrative because it fed your content. That's what you're with. You're not with it helping him find Sebastian because you wouldn't have sat here and spent this much time trying to convince this man of why he shouldn't be doing what he's doing and that they have ulterior motives. I'm not calling out these creators on Filtered Opinions. I'm calling out Seth Rogers. You had me mistaken with somebody else. I'm pointing out where Seth Rogers came out here and said he's going to work with the Proudfoots because there shouldn't be a team Seth and there shouldn't be a team Proudfoots. It should only be team Sebastian. But then he went right back to be part of my team. And now to this day, all you hear coming out of his quote unquote team is my team. Team Seth. Everyone wants to say Sebastian took a back seat. This is why. This is who did it. That side did it. It's ridiculous.
At the end of the day, it really is about finding Sebastian all day.
Right.
But Seth, unfortunately, I got to let you go, man. But I do want to ask you that, though. I do want to ask you something. Have you heard any new updates at all?
Oh, finally, to what matters, Sebastian Rogers.
Any leads, anything? Okay.
I've got plans for next week on locations and stuff to hit.
Okay.
So.
I do have some friends.
It was always next week. Anybody else noticed that? It was always next week. And then listen to what he says here. This is important.
That have some serious resources. I would love to rap with you about that on, off the record, when we get off the show. I definitely would love to get in touch with you about this because I got some people that have some a lot of resources and for searching etc. So
That's where Tony Mathis came into picture, if anybody was confused. Enter Tony Mathis, who, when the Proudfoots said, respectfully, we don't need a spokesman, he turned around and said, gloves off, go after them all you want, gloves off. So, as I said, this whole divide thing that has taken place, right? We're all aware. I saw Pearl's girl go on a panel, and immediately the chat went nuts. She's a distraction. Some people were upset. He did do wrong, unfiltered opinions. On that day, Pascal, JLR, and Dolly all did wrong, in my opinion. So anyway, and it's funny because now all of them are anti-Seth. Isn't that funny how that works? It makes you wonder, did the people that came out here and they were anti-Proudfoot, did they get what they could get from that? And when that dried up, they turned to anti-Seth to get what they can get from that? Was any of it really with the intent of helping Sebastian Rogers, or was it all for content? Honestly, I don't know. So anyway, going forward, she goes up there and a lot of people were upset at her. And I get why. I understand why people are upset. But I saw quite a few people saying she's sent in as a distraction. Somebody who's been a member to all of her channels for months was now called and stated they were sent in as a distraction. Because that's how deep people have come into these conspiracies, that everybody and everything is a distraction. It's a setup. It's a distraction. A distraction from what? With utmost respect, why would they want to distract from a clip that was going to be played pertaining to Betty? It didn't even make sense. So a lot of people couldn't understand where she was coming from, and they wanted proof that it was ever stated, that she didn't just make this up. Oh, I offer you the proof.
please welcome Seth Rogers to the show. Seth, my brother, how you doing?
Well, I went to the doctor today. They gave me some stuff for my nerves.
Let's stop for a minute and see if Brittany will answer SF when he says, what day do you claim I knocked on your door? Let's prove up those claims right here. Exactly what day do you claim this happened? SF talked to several neighbors that absolutely happened. So what day did SF knock on your door? She does happen to disappear a lot of times, to be honest, SF. So let's see if she'll answer you.
Pain.
My brother, how you doing?
Well, I went to the doctor today. They gave me some stuff for my nerves.
Is that why you fell asleep during a polygraph? Because the stuff for your nerves? I mean, that's the first thing you mentioned. Oh,
Pain in
all
my
right.
shoulder. They gave me some muscle relaxers and some steroids. And then proceeded to tell me to take a few days off, or else, quote unquote, you'll be dead within a week if you don't slow down.
Wow. Wow. The doctor said he'll be dead in a week if he don't slow down from shoulder pain. Holy shit. That's intense. I never realized he said that. Wow. No, Sun Beach. And every time people are talking about that one, B to the J, she thinks they're talking about her, and it throws the whole fucking chat off, and we all get distracted. So no, please. It's a Brittany that is a neighbor of the Proudfoots who claimed that SF knocked at her door. He's asking for what day she thinks that he knocked at the door. She's made a lot of wild claims. Oh, I want to follow this really quick. Hold on. That's what Brittany, you did this to me the other day as well. I made a comment on your Twitter post about how irresponsible it was for you to accuse a father of murdering his son. So you blocked me. No. You said he knocked on your door, not a block. You said he knocked on your door. You also then claimed you were doxxed after doxing yourself, and that the cops were in your driveway and you were over in another chat asking the creator what you should do instead of speaking to the police. So please just directly answer this man. What day did he knock on your door? Or with utmost respect, Brittany, just admit you lied. I mean, enough already. It's pretty transparent. You said you're receiving all these threats. When I question you and ask you to email them to me because you said they're via email, and I ask how anybody would even have your email when you're incognito, you turn around, you distracted again and said, just answer the question at hand, please. I feel like you've taken enough attention-seeking things going on here. Hey, Mr. Positive. So this was interesting. I never heard this. mean, again, this is a shoulder injury we're talking about.
They gave me some muscle relaxers and some steroids, and then proceeded to tell me to take a few days off, or else, quote unquote, you'll be dead within a week if you don't slow down.
Oh boy.
Dead from what? They didn't, I mean, God, don't even say it. But you would think if it was, you know, you'll be dead within a, you think they would also say not just take a couple days off, but take a couple pounds off. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but I genuinely want to know how a shoulder injury would cause this man to be dead in a week. And with utmost respect, he was not out there searching every single day. Yeah, thank you. We got it. We clarified that, Tasha. Thank you. She always just kind of vanishes when she's put on the spot, to be honest. I'm quite over it.
Because I understand that you've been having some sort of muscle, like you tore a muscle or something like that. Can you explain a little bit more?
I go in Monday for not to violate HIPAA, but I go in Monday.
Look, you got jokes. No, you violated your son.
To get a image done to see if there's any tears. They gave me muscle relaxers to relax the muscle because they have a feeling that it's pushing up against the nerve, which is causing the nerve pain all the way down my ab arm to my fingers.
Oh, okay. How does that lead to dying in a week? I don't know. I've never. Has she commented again? No? Okay.
Oh, wow. Wow. Some serious nerve damage going on there. Can I ask you something though? How did that happen actually? What happened to you? Go ahead.
No idea.
Oh, you have no idea. So you didn't fall during a search or anything of that sort. This just happened.
Probably muscle strain from doing what I was doing, and then, you know, tightens up muscle.
Story change number 2. Am I right? Because he did state on another stream, we just played it the other day, that the injury did come from searching. Anybody else recall this? Has she commented again? Brittany, are you still here? Can you just answer this, man? Because what you did was you fed everybody this narrative about SF to go and run with, and it's not really cool. I came in here as an adult, so sure something that she has to say. I never asked to be disrespectful or accused of thing. No, Brittany, you did say he knocked on your door. Oh, gee, golly. Brittany, you absolutely said that he knocked at your door. You went on and screamed how inappropriate it was. I gave you my email. Did you email me the threats? I'm waiting to see them. I don't know why it took you days to come in as an adult. After avoiding me in every chat I've been in with you where I question you, you suddenly disappear. Well, that's what you did, Brittany. That's what you did. When you're out here claiming you're being threatened and SF is knocking at your door and he's making you uncomfortable and the cops are there. This is what you're doing to people. Do you understand? You got it too, Tashi? Right. People screenshot it because it was a big deal. No, SF is asking you why you're lying on him. I think the only thing that is obvious, with utmost respect, is that you're a liar. You've been seeking attention as a so-called neighbor. You've been doing this for months. You've been coming in chats. You've been derailing them. You've been asking to be seen and heard. And now that everybody's seeing and hearing you, you're acting like you're a victim of it. You spent months looking for people's attention. Okay, so it's safe to assume Brittany lied. That's a big like, and ironically, the same exact claim that Nick is making about people doing knock on doors. Because you started that rumor, Brittany. So when you're out here crying that people need to leave the pairs alone and stop with the rumors, you're doing it. He's just asking for a date, Brittany. Here you go, SF. Thank you, first off and foremost. Thank you for being out there searching for Sebastian. Thank you. I'm heading out to search now, but if she comes up with an answer and wants to debate it, I will come right back up and go on panel. We can prove who was telling the truth and who was lying. She responds, I would absolutely talk to you in person, to person, explain exactly, and I'm sure you would remember exactly once I explain it to you. Lord, blessed be the fruit. Anyway.
I didn't go get it looked at like I should have. And you know, tightens up, muscle. I didn't go get it looked at like.
Brittany, you're being treated the way you deserve to be treated with the accusations you have made. And I mean that respectfully, because I promise you, from the day I started covering Sebastian, you have come in and you have derailed. And despite your derailments, I've remained respectful to you. I've been accommodating to you. You've done it dozens and dozens of times now. And all SF is asking for is a date where he knocked on your door, because your allegation has led to a huge slanderous rumor against this man, and he has a right to ask you to clarify it and do so publicly. And I do hope if he goes and knocks on your door that he records you, so you can't pull this shit in person either. You're making claims to the public. Why do we need to discuss it privately? You made a public claim. Let's discuss it in public. Amen. Then she doxed herself and then ran to a different chat and was like, I'm being doxed. The police are here because I'm being doxed and threatened. You doxed yourself, Brittany. You absolutely doxed yourself. She won't come on panel. She usually runs from the chat, to be honest. I don't understand how she doesn't understand why people are upset with you, Brittany. You go from chat to chat to chat doing this. Just stop it already.
I should have. But taking care of it now. Give me a couple of days rest.
Give me a couple of days to rest. My GoFundMe was met. By the way, SF, she told us the other day, in case you're unaware, she told us the other day she lives 3 doors down from the Proudfoots. So if that helps you, if you need to go find her in person, as she's saying, and speak to her, please make sure to record yourself. Maybe even ask if an officer is nearby that can, come and be a witness, because she seems the type. I'm just saying. Before I have to leave, I've not done one single door knock in this case. I'm not a retained investigator in the case. I am not doing door knocks. So he has never knocked on your door. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. How are we going to have a civil conversation when I'm up on panel, you're in the chat, Brittany? I think SF has a lot of reason to be upset with you. I don't think, maybe you don't understand the severity of your allegations, but they caused a lot of harm to him and his reputation. So the best thing you could do is either write right here in chat, did SF Investigates knock on your door? Yes or no? We don't need any other BS about you tweeted him and how mean the people are to the parents. Just give a simple yes or no. That's a damn lie. You said it in my chat to Brittany. Girl, all right, I'll prove you right now. Stop it. You've distracted enough. Luckily, for YouTube has done an update for us creators where we can just click on a person's name and see all the times they chatted before. So give me just a minute, Brittany, and I shall give your request. Hold on. Don't you worry. I got you. I can help you out here. Let me mute this. Let me come right up here. Click on Brittany. We'll go to channel activity. Here we go. Excuse me, Nelly. Get away for a minute. Send, give me a second. I'm going to pull it up. Right here. I live 3 houses down from them, and I'm so tired of being disrespected just simply because I have my own opinion. Had nothing to do with your own opinion. You said barbecue made accusations. It's going to take me a minute. Once again, distracting from the topic at hand, but Brittany's good at doing that. Here's where I ask you about these threatening emails. You say, I get disgusting emails sent to me. I have no idea who it's from at the moment. All I said is, can you show proof of them? Barbecue, Johnson, Taj. You sure comment a lot. For somebody who doesn't quite like us. So I don't want to hold you all up as I look for all of this, because there's quite a lot of comments. So I'm going to continue to play. We're going to continue to go on topic. Others in here have saw your comment. I believe it was even highlighted, to be quite honest. So many people are aware that you did make that accusation that SF Investigates knocked at your door. With utmost respect, you absolutely did. I don't know why you're denying it now. Are you claiming it was an odd account? Right, exactly. Thank you, Tashi. That's where I'm at with it. But I'll continue to look, but I'm also going to continue to play because I don't think it's fair to once again hold you all up because this neighbor so badly wants to be seen, yet she goes and does all these things to not be seen. Yeah, it's one of those weird things, you know?
And then hit the ground running.
Yeah, man. I mean, is this gonna slow you down at all in your search? Are you gonna like take a little bit of a
Oh, Mia girl, could you email me it? Could you email it, please? I'd appreciate that. Thank you, because it does seem like a few comments are gone here. I'm not going to lie. They're not making much sense. She deleted the part where she says she's getting emails that are threatening her. I see that comment's gone, but you can see where she's responding to me about it. So, all right.
break? Hang up the hat for a little bit during this search? What's the story here? Talk to me.
No, it's not a different neighbor because she said, that's exactly what she said. SF better not knock on my door again. Blah, 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 blah. It was her. It was definitely her.
I'm just going to take a little break. They're still going to do flyers. We're going to have a vigil held on Sunday. I still plan on being there. I'm just going to take it a little bit easier. Give it some time to rest, for me to rest and for it to heal, because it's been interrupting. It hurts. So pain's enough that it keeps me awake.
No doubt. No doubt.
Hey,
Well, I
Regina.
mean, first off, I mean, I commend you for not slowing down, you know, still going after it, taking care of things, getting things taken care of as far as finding Sebastian. But you just said that there's going to be a vigil on Sunday. Is that correct?
From my understanding, we're setting one up at the Rudder for Sunday.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Do we know the time? And
Brittany, all of this took place 4 days ago. It was 4 days ago. You said when I said nobody's received actual threats, you said you've received threatening emails. When I asked for proof, you went on a whole detractor, and suddenly they weren't threatening emails. They were just gross emails. You made the comment about SF. Every time anybody questions you, you kind of vanish from chat for a little bit. I seen you in several chats within these past 3 or 4 days that this took place, and you've disappeared. I've given you my email several times now. Please, enough. Respectfully, enough. Oh. Brittany. No, I did not say that. I said he knocked on my door. I got emails from other people that I was talking about. Absolutely never said that SF threatened me. Now you're saying you never even said he knocked. Oh, Brittany. No, don't leave before sending the email, Brittany. Enough with the excuses, please, respectfully. Enough. Enough. And sure enough, that comment's gone. And this is just one of the comments you made about him knocking, because the other one you were saying, you hope that he doesn't knock at your door. He better not knock at your door again. So you made several accusations of SF coming to your house, and now you're stating you never said it. Brittany, you send me the email of the proof of the threats you have received, and I will help clear your name. But at this point, I can't help but wonder if you're working with binoculars to try to distract. I don't understand what's going on. And I'm not usually one of these people, but you've done this several times in several chats. You've done it in BJ's, you've done it in Justin's, you've done it over here, you've done it in Nonsense, you've done it over in Jay's. You've done it everywhere you've gone. She sure has, SF, and guess what? I'm looking at her comments now, and they're all deleted. But this was my chat she said it in. And a lot of these comments pertaining to you are now deleted. I've heard that account claim this multiple times over last week. My questions to her, are you in contact with Nick? Did Nick ask you to make this claim? Yeah, why suddenly is she making claims of being threatened? And we know she seeks out the attention because, after all, she's a neighbor. Oh, gee golly.
And do we know the time for Sunday?
Currently, right now, it's 6 o'clock, but that really kind of depends on the weather.
Gotcha.
Nothing yet, Jason. I'm checking, but nothing yet. All right. I'll check again in a few minutes.
Are we supposed to have some bad weather on Sunday?
60% chance of rain.
Oh, yeah, that can definitely do that. That can definitely do that for sure. Okay.
Do not apologize, SF. You did not hijack the chat. Brittany did. I appreciate you coming and not only searching for answers to clear your own name, but most definitely appreciate you searching for Sebastian. I'm sending utmost prayers to you that you find answers today. And yeah, I mean, literally, my faith is all in you. So please I know you'll do your best and be safe. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. So the rudder, 6 p.m. Okay. Sunday. And that's all depending on weather. If weather is permitting, there will be a vigil.
Yeah, I don't want people out in nasty weather.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I don't want anybody to get sick.
No, I don't blame you, bro. I don't blame you at all. I really, really don't blame you at all. And so thank you so much for that update. I really do appreciate that. Can we talk about any updates on the search before we dive into all this stuff, all this murky water? Are there any updates with the search right now?
No. None that I've been told of.
Okay. Have you had any conversations with law enforcement as of late? Have they reached out to you with anything at all?
Nope.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay. All right. Aside from your shoulder back situation, how you feeling?
Same as yesterday. Got one goal in mind. That's fine, Sebastian.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. Now, of course, we got to get straight into the meat and potatoes of this, right?
Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Here we go. Amen. Actually, let's take a minute. As we know that SF is actually out there today searching, let's take a moment to remind ourselves what this is all about. The video I'm playing now is being done to clear Pearl Girl from the way she was thought of yesterday, but in all actuality, everything should be about this right here. On February 26, 2024, an Amber Alert went out for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian is white, 5'5", 120 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. Sebastian was last seen wearing a black long-sleeve shirt, black sweatpants, and glasses. He has a medical condition that may impair his ability to return safely without assistance. If you have seen Sebastian or have information regarding his whereabouts, please contact the Sumner County Emergency Center or TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Let's take this moment to pray for Sebastian's safe return. Gosh, I hope we get answers. So here's Brittany. I'm telling you now, SF better not Unfortunately, on a computer, it doesn't show you all of it. Not sure who Brittany person is or why they're claiming this, but SF did not show up at anyone's house yesterday. He has not even left his home state yet. Won't be arriving in Tennessee until the 23rd. So how exactly is he showing up yesterday as supposed neighbors of Sebastian's house? That's what you claim to be, right, Brittany? Now, again, these messages are all deleted. Any of them pertaining to that in my chat, anyhow, is deleted.
So are you ready to have some conversations?
I know you got questions. I haven't let you all down with answers yet.
Yeah. All right. So you had a conversation.
SF, are you still here? I think this may be important. Yes, I emailed Nick and forwarded that to him. I also made a police report. Just because I am a neighbor does not mean that I cannot have my own opinion on this case. I was actually really shocked. Tony Mathis, reach out to me, please. You, my friend, are a shit-stirring woman, and I hope that SF today notifies the police of your over-insertion into a missing child's case and that the police take a closer look at you as a neighbor 3 houses down. How do we even know this is a female? She has been messy from the jump of this case in every single chat room, making sure everybody knew she was a neighbor. To the point where if you don't acknowledge her, she'll keep going and going and going. She pokes and prods everywhere she is. I'm starting to think you're a little suspicious. And yes, this was directly about SF. This was after she spent 2 days going over to every other chat and saying that you were knocking at her door, and since you knocked at her door, she's been receiving threats. You're a problem, Brittany. What was this? 3 days ago, chasing? It first started in my chat, which was 5 days ago. So this between 5 days ago and today, this has been happening. Yeah, 3 or 4 days ago. This has been going on since that time period. So this is exactly why Nick came out here saying that you're knocking on doors threatening people. Meanwhile, you weren't even in Tennessee. Shame on you, Brittany. Shameful. For the woman who's been out here saying, I just want Sebastian found. If you're a woman, for all we know, you could be anybody. You're sure doing a lot of distractions yourself. Then, after she was in my chat where she makes the claim that she lives 3 houses down, so of course people looked, and you blurred your house on Google Map. Smart on you, but why would you do it? As a creator, it took me being, nobody even thinks to do that. Creators usually don't even think to do that, but she sure did that. You wrote in this chat that you lived 3 doors down, giving away your own address. You doxed yourself. Then you ran immediately over to Clutch Bay Smurls and stated that the police were in your driveway because now you're receiving threats because SF knocked at your door. You lied, Brittany. You are purposely interfering in an investigation of a missing child, and I don't understand why. If anything, for somebody who claims you've been wanting Sebastian be found, you're sure doing a lot to distract. This was September 18th at 6:58 p.m. And I'll tell you exactly when you claimed the police were at your door, because I commented. 5 days ago. 5 days ago, you claimed the police were at your door. They were sitting in your driveway and you were asking the creator, what should I do? I'm being doxxed and threatened. So yes, SF, I hope you do go notify the police of this person and their weird behaviors, because it is weird. Oh, she'd be more than welcome up. She, he, whoever it is, would be more than welcome up. But they won't come. You reached out to Nick? I asked you 5 days ago to send me the emails of proof, and then you walked it back and made some stupid comment about, well, they weren't threats, but they were gross. Ugh, this is so weird. Enough. Click the entire photo. Tell us, neighbor. I love that our community here supports Sebastian and those who want him home. Oh, please. Oh, making it rain. Making it rain. That's how much they care about this child. Make it rain. Green team. Sure. Reach out to me, please. Thank you for the membership. Oh, more making it rain. Yeah, it's all about the child. Fuck out of here. Yep, remember way back in begin when I brought the guidelines to y'all, in big letters, be aware of those that insert themselves into the case, especially a local. She sure has. Sure has. You know, instead of you all dropping umbrellas in my chat, making it rain, you know, dollar bills all, can we drop some green hearts? Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, but why does she need to feel important? Why has she been asserting herself this entire time? Since day one, I've noticed her, because I've gotten a lot of disagreements with her. SF's last comment. Thank you, Wendy. Nick claimed yesterday their investigation is being hindered by investigators knocking on doors. Good job, Brittany. Good job. For somebody who claimed from day one it should all be about Sebastian. You made it about yourself, and now you literally caused harm to a professional who is the only one, not Nick, not Tony, not Dog, but SF is the only one who actually is in Tennessee right now searching. Congratulations, Brittany.
Just the other day, you dropped some serious bombshells. I know that
you that I really don't. I was so tired and exhausted. I'm
going to mute this really quick, and I'm going to say this. PJ, I'm sure SF will be notifying the police today. Okay? And they will go knock on that house 3 doors down from the Proudfoots and figure out, is Brittany really Brittany? Because I'll tell you what we figured out. That retired LE lives there. Ain't that the truth, Brittany? Bet you didn't think anybody would figure that out. Just, you know, use a different name on YouTube because in your words, you're not an idiot. Just the idiot who's been begging to be seen as a neighbor since day one. All right, now we're getting to the meats and potatoes and not the Britneys and the liars.
I know that
you that I really don't. I was so tired and exhausted. I really don't even remember the podcast, man.
Okay. So, really quick, I want to make this very clear. I am not speaking about Brittany as in Brittany J. I'm speaking about Brittany as in a neighbor who has interfered and inserted herself from day one. I just want that clarified. It is not Brittany J. It is not her. So we all know what this is in regards to. The meat and potatoes is what Pascal, again, this is because I want to prove Pearl's girl wasn't lying. She wasn't brought up as a distractor. We need to stop with the tinfoil hats. We need to stop with the us first them mentality. It is fed to keep you all engaged and to keep, you know, make you feel part of. Nothing more, nothing else.
That I really don't. I was so tired and exhausted. I really don't even remember the podcast, man.
Don't even remember.
Wow. Whoa. Really?
Wow. Yeah, you spilled some real
Really?
tea.
I mean, I get it. Being sleep deprived.
No, you don't.
Running on just nothing but adrenaline all day long. You were also on many shows that day as well, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, was he? Let's take a look. Was he on many shows that day? No, he wasn't. Although Seth has been on many shows. He was on one, two. Oh, yeah. No, it was only one show that day, Pascal. It's just one. He was on Justin on TikTok, just one.
Yeah. I mean, everybody wanted a piece of me, and I felt like the pie was empty.
The pie was empty.
Yeah,
So
I get that.
Son.
But still, no matter what, nonetheless, there was a conversation that was had. You did drop some very big pieces of information. And
this is a trigger warning. Although I don't believe true crime discussions need trigger warnings. Because I feel like we already know this is adult content. But we're going to go ahead and we are going to put the warning out that this is a trigger warning. Oh, she lives 3 doors down. 3 doors down.
Whether you had said those things beforehand or after, it still doesn't matter. This was live. This was out. This obviously made the rounds and shocked a lot of people. It shocked me too, my brother. I'm going to be real. I was shocked. Very, very shocked. But But of course, I have some questions revolving around all of that. Okay. Or revolving around the information that you gave. So let's talk about it. Because
What it have to do with passion?
yes, that information that had to do with Sebastian. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
Mr. Proudfoot, Chris, people were asking.
Right away, he's going to blame the Proudfoots for what he did that day. Right away. I want to make sure I'm right that he was only on one panel that day. Because I don't like the excuse that, well, he was on so many panels. Maybe it just, it just got overwhelming. He was sleep deprived. I don't like that. All right. So I got the right date here. Okay. So he was on Justin on TikTok's. First, he was on Nancy Grace. Then he was on Justin on TikTok where he spills all these beans. Then he made a Court TV appearance. And then he made a Navacity appearance. What is that one? Oh, I never even seen this one. Have any of you ever seen this? Anybody ever seen him on this panel? I never saw him over here. Never knew this existed. All right, we'll get back to that. So it all started on this one at this time. So we got Nancy Grace, then Justin, then Court TV, then this. And then 2 days later, he was on Pascal's.
Asking why he didn't want my son around his daughter. And he kept telling me that if people keep asking the question, he's going to answer it. And my son, Chris, people were asking why he didn't want my son around his daughter. And he kept telling me that
Yeah, you did great.
if people keep asking the question, he's going to answer it. And
so instead of letting people answer it, he's going to go ahead and put it out there. But I think we heard him say differently. Not on that day he was a Queen Widow, not that same exact day, but around the same period of time, just not that same day. So what's ironic about that is he told us a different story, really, is what he did.
turned around and stated that if he tells them, people will stop looking for Sebastian.
Oh, that's what he said.
Really? Okay. Can I ask you something before you continue on? I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm curious. When was this conversation that was had? And was that something on a podcast, or was that something between you guys behind, on your own time behind closed doors?
Yes.
So him sitting there saying, I don't want. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Imagine being over the phone and saying, yo, stop telling people that I don't want people around my daughter because they're going to start asking questions. And I'm afraid if they find out that it's going to hinder the search for Sebastian, plus private details should be private, right? I mean, that's okay. So what does he do? He goes and runs public.
You say?
It was over the phone.
Okay. So him saying, if people start asking why I don't want.
There is a Brittany in the neighborhood on Kellen, but she's married to a cop. Yep. That would be this. That would be this, Brittany.
Want Sebastian around Faith, they won't go and look for Sebastian.
If they
found out the truth.
Why? Yeah. That people wouldn't go look for my son.
Okay.
I told him you don't want to go down that route.
Now, everybody can play their little stupidity because it's uncomfortable and we don't like speaking about it. But the father put it out here. Okay. I don't care what any of you conclude to. I know where my brain goes with this. He didn't tell people not to look for Sebastian. That's not what happened. And it wasn't that if people found out Sebastian was a victim, they weren't going to look. That's stupid. We know what is being implied here. We can all play stupid and act like we don't understand what is being implied here. But I absolutely understand what is being implied here. It is, Tashi. It is that house blurred out. Yes. That's why I told SF he can figure it out.
Gotcha. And he said this between you and him.
But Katie was on the phone too.
Oh, Katie was sure.
So Katie
too.
was on the phone as well. Okay.
Of course.
So what was the conversation like? I mean, was this just a regular conversation or was this a full-on blown out argument?
I think he tried to make it one. It wasn't going to be one.
Okay.
I did get heated because I didn't appreciate him saying that when it's like, dude, it's just another time that you and his mom have failed him. And I'm sitting here trying to put the pieces back together.
How was Seth trying to put the pieces back together? It is, right, Squiz? It is. I mean, I'm tired of people acting like it isn't because, you know, we shouldn't speak about it. Go over to other bigger channels like Lore Lodge and all where they directly speak about it. Thank you, Mickey, for becoming a member again. Thank you. Huh.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
My whole issue about that is if you cared that much for my son as you do your daughter, that you don't want my son around because there's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a possibility, right? Hey, Lucia. Let's go into he's a victim. His father says he didn't get proper therapy. You're going to hear his father get more elaborate here in a minute, which is why I am offering. Although, again, as adults, I don't feel as necessary, but I'm going to go ahead and put up a trigger warning because this is a heavy topic and it's a real life topic and we shouldn't be shamed away from it. And I won't be shamed away from it. I heard a woman be berated and told that she made this up and she was sent as a distraction. And I want to show you all who actually put this out there as a distraction.
Why weren't you thinking about that when he's under your roof?
No doubt.
Obviously he was, if he said it to you.
That's one thing I'm very curious about as well. And we're going to get to that in just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the reason? What was the origin of this actual fight or argument or discussion on this phone that would spawn him saying that in the first place? What
Regina,
started this?
thank you, sweetheart.
During podcasts, why he didn't want my son around his daughter.
How did people know during podcasts that he didn't want your son around his daughter? How did anybody even know that? Because Seth Rogers said it. Because Seth knew what he was doing by setting that into motion. We can go and say that Chris had a custody case coming up and he needed Sebastian gone so he could get Faith, right? We can go with that. But let's dissect that for what that is. Thank you so much, Nurserykins. Thank you, Music City. How would making a child disappear give you a better chance in custody court? If anything, it could hinder your chances of getting custody. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it would benefit a custody hearing. Put a 2 if you think it would harm it. So that wouldn't make any sense. It would cause more harm. But what does make more sense is that Sebastian remembered he was set very soon to go live with his father and do online schooling. Because of this situation here, let's not all play stupid and act like we don't know what it was meant when Seth Rogers said he was going to do online schooling because he wasn't going to put him back in that situation without the proper therapy. That's not true. That's simply not true, Mystic. On one of the first videos CP and Chris did, Chris taught us how his cousin, that's not true. Because find me that interview, please, and I will play it. Music City Mom, thank you so much. Find me that video, Mystic, and I will play it. Is it? I have a list of all the interviews here. Which first interview was it? Because I've never heard that. That was never said from Chris. Matter of fact, it was never acknowledged until Seth put it out here. He lied about the child's age, and that's when Katie addressed it. Prior to that, it was never stated. Never, Mystic. And I will go through each interview one by one. Do you remember it? Okay. So I'm going to pull up their very first interview, Mystic, and we're going to look for it.
So this happened because, okay,
People
So-
were asking questions.
people were asking questions like the smart,
Why don't,
intelligent
Great.
people that they are. Go ahead.
why don't you bash around your daughter?
Oh, I will,
You know,
Mystic. That's not true, though.
People were
Go
asking,
ahead.
Chris, why don't you want Sebastian around your daughter? I see people in chat that were asking me all the time, why doesn't Chris want Sebastian around his daughter? There's your answer.
Mm-hmm.
There's your answer. What's the answer? Why don't you elaborate a little bit further there, Seth, you piece of shit?
You know,
No, Chris did not say that. I know he didn't.
Interesting. So you're telling me that he looks at Sebastian like some sort of predator?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
Wow.
Ouch. Wow. Who's the one? Oh, yikes. So again, we're going to play stupid and act like we don't know what's being insinuated here?
But why?
Why?
Because of what happened to him in California under his supervision, or under him and Katie Proudfoot's supervision?
Pascal, you can't be that ignorant, my friend. You have done true crime for such a long time. You cannot be that ignorant.
that and the fact that he hasn't got the correct help.
Wow. What is being implied here? Fact that he hasn't gotten the correct help.
In California, he was seeing a doctor by the name of Dr. Franny at Balboa, and she didn't appreciate the fact that I stood up and used a stern voice with her and told her she wasn't doing anything for my son.
Oh, so once again, Seth knows better than professionals. And he used a stern voice and said, "You're not doing enough for my son." So at this point, we could all imagine that Seth ran and found a better therapist for Sebastian, right?
Letting him play with toys and choose what movie or he gets to watch when he gets out of the thing. That's not helping him. That's not the proper therapy. I'm already researching this. She wasn't. What's the word I'm looking for? She wasn't qualified for that type of therapy
Oh, okay.
because that's a different type of therapy for traumatic
Hey, Cass.
sexual abuse,
Oh.
and that's a different type of class.
All right. And you're sure of that? Are you sure of that? That she didn't have the credentials to handle that type of therapy?
Yes.
All right. Okay. I know that we're
Right. It's called play therapy. I'm sure that woman was credentialed.
doing a little bit backwards. Okay. But I do have a lot of questions that we got to go all the way back a little bit. Okay. So I understand
Take
that
us
this
back.
happened in California. And we got to dive into it a little bit more so we understand a little bit more of this information. Because you did drop this on Justin. Shout out to Justin on TikTok. And it was shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ain't that right?
But you did say that in California, while Sebastian was under Katie Proudfoot's supervision.
Can I interrupt you for?
Go ahead. By all means. Go ahead.
All right.
I have no idea, Jay.
A lot of people are,
Thank you, Barbara.
this is the information that I'm giving is facts.
Thank you, Lovey.
It's not me trying to.
It's not facts, it's opinion. It is all opinion based. It is an opinion that the therapy wasn't proper. It is fact that you did nothing about it.
Throw punches or whatnot. But this is the third time that something major has happened to my child underneath their watch. And they need to own it. They need to own the fact that they have fucked up yet again. And I'm sitting here being Sebastian's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now he doesn't have one until we find him.
Sure, that's
We'll find out what happened. All right. I've told everybody you're innocent until proven guilty.
Mm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
that's just the way the system works. There's nothing I can do about that. That's the way the system works, and that's the way it should work. You're innocent until proven guilty.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Now, I understand that I believe that you are telling the truth. I don't think you have. Why would you sit here, go out of your way, not spitting facts, right? So it wouldn't make any sense for you to just go out of your way to just talk wild, suddenly out of nowhere, and aimlessly in some sort of way. And I don't think what you're saying right now and what you've given to us is aimless or doesn't have any clout, isn't backed up with
Any clout. Screets and clout and all these things, right? Clout. Doesn't have any clout. Oh, wow. You mean like basis, fact, maybe? I don't know. So here's where Katie responds. My child was not 13. That child was not 13, and we did not allow my son to be abused. We contacted all authorities. I'm so mad for her. My son received all the available help he could get. Multiple therapists involved. His doctor did know because he went to the doctor and got checked immediately. Seth was involved in his therapy as well. There are so many lies in this story, including him failing to mention where Seth got banned from the base for his violent tendencies, where at the time my son was seeing psychiatrists and psychologists to help him with his trauma from Seth's abuse and the trauma from being assaulted by this child. Let me be clear. I think it is sickening that this man is airing my son's trauma online. My son deserves better than that. When we find him, and I believe in my heart we will, the truth will come out. He is doing his best to slander us as parents, but my son is loved and cared for and always will be. Public opinion based on lies, assumptions, half-truths is rampant because of things like this, which has nothing to do with finding Sebastian. I will not stoop so low as to partake in a back and forth argument with him. God knows the truth, and the truth will always come out. Please stop the madness and focus on finding Sebastian because that is the most important thing. So, respectfully, Mystic Firefly, no, they did not bring this to the forefront first. They did not. And it gets worse.
Proof, which, of course, I am very curious about some of these things as well. But what I need to understand, though,
Trina B, I'm sorry you feel that way.
This happened under her supervision in California. Is that right or wrong?
That's right.
Was Chris involved in that at all?
Choo-choo.
Because I think that's one thing that a lot of people are very curious about as well.
Chris was living with her then.
Okay.
Imagine being so grossly uneducated, so grossly revengeful that you blame a parent for something like that. Do you know how many children have unfortunately been the victims of SA, rather it be by other children or other adults, without the parent ever having a clue? It was repeated as if they allowed it to happen. It was stated they allowed it to happen. And if that is the case, Seth Rogers, then shame on you for not getting custody sooner. Melissa, respectfully, whatever clues X did it doesn't fall on Clue. Just like whatever happened to Sebastian doesn't fall on his parents.
So who is this kid? Who is this 13-year-old kid, if he was 13, 15, whatever age he was, who did this unthinkable thing to Sebastian? Who is the kid?
I don't know his last name. Sheriff wouldn't give me his last name.
But why not?
Okay, Mystic, we will.
California CPS children under the age of 13 and under are actually protected. So
you know what he said there? Children under the age of 13 or under are actually protected. What? That child was not 13. Are they protected? Protected from who? Huh.
So
you know who
they wouldn't give me any information. They weren't letting me do anything.
What you want to do, Seth?
The only thing they let me do was I asked him if I could contact the school psychologist, if he could sit there and tell the school psychologist the person's name.
So you felt like the school psychologist would do better than actual psychologists. And here's the other thing. What's really sad about it is I believe if Seth had that child's name, he would put it out. And a child is a child, and that child was likely a victim themselves. And without the proper therapy, a child that is a victim can sometimes go on unknowingly doing the same to somebody else because they don't know there's a problem with it because they're children. Children know what they're taught.
So that the other children that was around him would not become victims as well. And I went as far as finding out, the parents, from my understanding, the parents told Katie and Chris that their kid picked it up off of watching YouTube. Me personally, I have never seen like that stuff on YouTube. So
Neither have I. So what is he?
Let me pause really quick to drop my email. I'll be honest, I have seen this shit on YouTube, and I'll tell you where. There are a lot of these videos that are set up, which is why it's very important that we watch our children. Why is YouTube's blocking my comment? The videos are set up to make it. You got it? Thank you. To make it as if they're watching like Spider-Man and Elsa, right? There are these adults that are dressed up in costumes, and they're making it appear as if they're just watching this innocent cartoon. And when you, as the adult, watch the cartoon and you realize that Elsa is giving birth to a little baby Spider-Man, that's where it's hidden and intertwined in these videos that are meant to attract our children's eyes. And they seem harmless until you actually watch. And it happens all the time. And it is really big in the anime right now. Sorry, Barbara, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Snazzy, thank you for coming a member. I'm sorry, guys. This type of shit gets me really heated. That abuser was a child who was likely a victim themselves, Mystic. I don't think it's our business where he is. I don't think it's our business. Why don't we just pray? And how do you know that child's 21? That child's the same age as Sebastian. He was the same age as Sebastian. He's now 15. I'm very disappointed in you today, to be honest.
He watching on the tubes that would give him the disturbing education like that. That's what I'd like to know as well.
Pascal, as a professional, as a man with like this big production and you cover true crime all the time, can you have a little more respect when we're talking about something so serious and not use words like streets, clout, education? This is such a serious topic. Why make a mockery of it by saying shit like education? He was a year older. He's the same age as Sebastian, for fuck's sake.
Huh? So you learned this.
With his age, I would have to say that somebody was abusing the child.
Huh.
It had been probably going on for a while for him to think that it was normal, so he did it to my son.
It's exactly what I said. Victims sometimes don't realize that it is not acceptable, that it is not normal, and they unfortunately repeat the behavior.
That's why I'm asking about my son having the correct therapy to get him back on track.
Get him back on track.
He's autistic.
You notice that? I'm asking for my son to have the correct therapy to get him back on track. Listen to what Seth is saying.
Also, he did it to my son. That's why I'm asking about my son having the correct therapy to get him back on track. He's autistic. He's not mentally as old as he is physically. He's smart, but, delayed in learning. He's physically 15. Mentally, he's probably 10 or 11, and he's going through adolescence. His body's producing hormones that he has no idea what's about.
Do we want to admit what he is saying here? Because I'm tired of people playing it down. This is why Chris said, He was afraid if people found out, they wouldn't search. Because there are people like Mystic, with utmost respect, there are people like that think the child should be punished.
And I don't think things are lining up in his brain like they're supposed to, because obviously he's got a 6q chromosomal deletion syndrome, and he's got diagnosed with autism.
Understandable. And I get it that he's what he went through is a lot to process, no matter if.
Let me make myself crystal clear, Melissa, because you're here watching too. So I hope you hit the thumbs up. The reason I am playing this is because a woman was berated. You realize that was debunked, right? You realize that was not Sebastian. That first off, if we're supposed to believe dog, then it was a child named Nicholas. Only you would laugh at something so fucking serious. You are part of the problem. You are so gun-ho Team Seth instead of Team Sebastian that you would put a laughing reaction during something like this. You should be embarrassed. You should be ashamed. Now you want to put out, you're worried about this being played, but you want to put out that Sebastian wore a dress? Katie made him wear a dress? Get the fuck out of my chat. There's absolutely no proof that this child ever wore a dress. It was Uncle Taco's grandchild sitting on a bed. He couldn't even get the child's name correct, but you're all going to run with that rumor? Made him wear a dress? Get the hell out of here. And what are we saying? That little boys that wear dresses or what? It wasn't even him. And what if it was? What if Sebastian enjoyed wearing dresses? Who would that be a problem for? Wouldn't want to ruin the nuclear family or anything.
If he had autism or not, being a kid, 7 or 8 years old, that's a lot to process as a kid. I can't even imagine any child going through any of that. But question though, did you know of this said kid? We're going to use 13 years old. I know.
You know, Katie said he wasn't 13, but you're going to go ahead and say 13 anyway, because it sounds more vicious, right? Why were they allowing a 13-year-old to hang out with my 7, 8-year-old? When all actuality, the kid was 9, Sebastian was 8.
Katie Proudfoot said he wasn't 13 years old. And I get that semantics or technicalities, but I'm just going to call him the 13-year-old kid from this.
It's not semantics. It's very important.
Point on. Okay. So did you know anything about this 13-year-old kid before you heard about this tragedy and this trauma that was inflicted upon Sebastian?
I did not.
No.
You had no idea about this child. Okay. So then how did you find out? Because in the interview with Justin on TikTok, okay, you said you made it sound like you expressed some concerns about Sebastian hanging out with this 13-year-old kid while he was about 7 or 8 years old.
So there you go. Pascal's called him out himself. Well, how did you have concerns about Sebastian hanging out with this older kid if you never knew about this kid? Right there is a big lie that Seth Rogers told, and Pascal's calling him out on. That's what I'm saying, Squish. What's wrong with a boy wearing a dress? What's the problem with it? But then again, didn't Dog in the same interview where he calls Sebastian Nicholas also call a woman a half-breed? And y'all support that? Round of applause. We support bigotry in 2024. Congratulations, assholes.
Old and you were made it sound like.
Ask that again, Pascal. Ask again, because you never knew of the boy until it took place, eh? But yet you expressed concerns. How'd that happen? You didn't even know about him. Fucking liar.
The interview with Justin on TikTok, okay?
I'm sorry.
Said it made.
I am so sorry. I'm cursing a lot today. I'm sorry. I'm gonna slow it down. I'm just very passionate about these type of things. When I'm passionate, I curse a lot. I've been working on it. I do apologize. Let me slow it down. But I like the fact he's called out right here.
Then how did you find out? Because in the interview with Justin on TikTok, okay, you said you made it sound like you expressed some concerns about Sebastian hanging out with this 13-year-old kid while he was about 7 or 8 years old, and you were uncomfortable with it. And then, of course, this tragedy and this trauma was inflicted. So I want to get some clarity on that.
It amazes me that he's able to lean on both arms with such bad shoulder injuries right now, because that's a lot of weight to bear. Thank you for talking about the issue no one wants to discuss. I think this is the crux of the case. SA began with grooming Katie. My opinion, allegedly. I think the rejection rage that stems from Sean's adoption is a big part of this. Girl, that is a lot to digest. I can understand why you'd feel that way, but I'm not familiar with rejection rage, adoptions, any of that. I do appreciate the super chat. I just know that people are normalizing this and pretending it didn't take place, to the point where people are being berated and told that they're distractors for mentioning it. And I just want to prove it was not made up.
Did you not know about, did you have a strange inkling about this 13-year-old, or did you find out after the fact from Katie Proudfoot that this trauma was inflicted upon Sebastian?
Katie Proudfoot, who at that time was Katie Payne. I found out from her. She says,
look at that. He had to make sure everybody knew. It was Katie Payne at that time, not Katie Proudfoot, right? No, Seth. You said you expressed concerns prior to the abuse taking place of the age difference and them playing, but then you just admitted you had no idea this kid was around your son until after the allegations. So please riddle me how the two work. But of course, what does Seth do? And true Seth Eeyore fashion, he throws it back to blame the Proudfoots. Because he wasn't dad. He couldn't go get proper therapy. He didn't know who his kids were hanging out with. Daddy of the year
Was inflicted upon Sebastian.
Katie Proudfoot, who at that time was Katie Payne. I found out from her. She said she had contacted CPS on the other family.
That wasn't the question, Seth. The question was, how did you express concerns of the age difference if you didn't know about them hanging out till after? Of course, he has to distract.
Therefore, I found out from her, and CPS spoke to me, and that's when I started dealing with CPS and the sheriff's department.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
me.
No, Pascal. Dig a little deeper, because you know what he just did. That he just deflected from the question. Dig deeper. Get the real answer.
Katie used to communicate a lot more than we do now.
Oh, is that the problem here? You and Katie used to communicate a lot more than you do now? Oh, gee golly. Her fifis suck.
We're going to talk about that in a second. But real quick, as soon as you found out about this tragedy that happened to Sebastian at 7 or 8 years old in California,
he knew it.
what did you do?
I'm telling you, Trishy, gosh.
I immediately contacted the sheriff's department.
Oh.
I wanted to find out what was going to happen to the child.
Oh.
Okay.
I wanted to, what they were going to do to protect my son, protect this child that more than likely has been a victim already, and what they were going to do to prevent it. And I don't think the sheriff's department did anything.
Oh. The sheriffs didn't do anything. Look at him smirk. Like, I don't think they did anything. You don't think? You don't think so? You don't think they took it serious? Or, Mystic, you could just respectfully stop instigating every time you come into chat. I think that'd be a lot easier on you. I don't think anybody in here is harassing you. I think they're asking you to pinpoint which very beginning interview the Proudfoots mentioned that a cousin was abusing Sebastian. That's all. I think you made a very bold statement, and people are simply asking you to direct them to it. And I'm sure these same people can now go report you as well for the same thing. So you're just opening a door to play the report game with each other, which is so petty and juvenile. There's a really big discussion taking place right now. Can we not? Maybe just for a few minutes.
Another time that the law has failed our children.
Because I know that you said on the interview as well.
Not that you didn't fail your child at that point. Let's get to the part where Seth goes on and says that he told Sebastian Yes, I knew, son. And I'm sorry I wasn't there for you. But I had to take care of me. So after knowing his son went through this type of abuse, Seth Rogers didn't see Sebastian for some time period, to the point where Sebastian himself, according to Seth, was shocked to find out that Seth even knew. That's how little involvement he had thereafter. According to himself, if you listen to him, this is what he goes on to say. But he had to take care of himself first. Feels like Seth is always putting himself first.
That you couldn't do anything because
Ron.
of the state, because the state that you're in, because of the state of California, that you couldn't press charges on this 13-year-old kid. Can you explain to me why you couldn't press charges on this kid? He just committed a crime, allegedly. So why couldn't you press charges on this 13-year-old kid?
Because of his age.
Really, Pascal?
13. They won't press charges against a 13-year-old for that.
Oh. Pascal wanted charges pressed. That'd be like saying you want charges pressed against Sebastian now, right? And why would you say that? Why wouldn't you want that child just to get help because they're a child? And obviously they fell victim somewhere.
What was told to me by the sheriff's department.
And look at Pascal like he's just shocked right now. You mean they didn't handcuff a 9-year-old and throw him in the penitentiary? How dare they?
You know, my son got upset because I didn't tell him I knew. That his mom hadn't told me.
Right
And
here.
he got upset one day, and I was like, son, I do know.
Listen close.
And if you ever want to talk to me about it, you can. But at the same point in time, I was trying to take care of things on my end. Talk to me. He got upset one day.
Listen close.
That his mom hadn't told me. And he got upset one day, and I was like, son, I do know. And if you ever want to talk to me about it, you can. But at the same point in time, I was trying to take care of things on my end.
Does it sound like he was so involved as a father after his son was abused that his son was shocked to even find out that his father was aware of it? That's how uninvolved he was. He was shocked. Sebastian was shocked to find out that he was aware because he thought his mother didn't tell him. But you have to understand, son, I know you just experienced something that's going to shape your life forever, but I was trying to take care of things on my end. So I'm sorry I never sat you down and talked with you and showed my love and concern for you and understanding and made you feel safe. But gee, gollikers, I was busy. Unbelievable. And people will excuse it and they'll justify it and they'll say, but oh my gosh, hey, he was under Katie's roof. Occasion he was prescribed. It's all the same stuff my autistic son has taken, but made it seem like she was ODing him. Well, I like how Dog and them are saying that, oh, Sebastian may not be alive because he needed the sleeping medication. Okay. Sleeping medication is not having it isn't going to cause somebody to become deceased because there's plenty of over the counter and other ways to get the sleep medicine. But we know from Seth himself that he never gave Sebastian a medication. So why would that be enough now to write Sebastian off as deceased? His own father said he never gave him the medication. He didn't believe in medications. But he sure believed in those pain pills for himself. But no. He don't believe in medications for his son.
You know?
I get it. I fully get it. I think it's crazy to me that you couldn't.
Well, Trishy, that's fair enough. But then as an adult, you go and learn the skills. As an adult, you do whatever it takes to make sure you can be there for your kids. If you have to buy books, You have to seek therapy for yourself. You have to join a group of other parents who've experienced it to learn how to deal with it. You learn to deal with it. What you don't do is come air it to the public 8 years later when your child has disappeared.
Do anything it doesn't make any. I don't get it. I mean, I don't live in California, and I don't know the law out there.
Yeah.
But I am still very
You're all-
shocked. What were you saying?
I said, but you wear LA gear all the time.
Such a serious topic, but you wear LA gear. Let's bond over the rap song. Like, whoa. Tell me this guy just don't want to fit in. And he'll do it at any expense, even at his son's. We're talking about your child being abused.
Out there,
Yeah.
but I am still very
You're all-
shocked. What were you saying?
I said, but you wear LA gear all the time.
And look how he says that with such sincerity, too. Like points his finger, but you wear it all the time.
I do.
Oh, yeah, you're proud of yourself, Seth? Perfect time to make such a stupid, corny joke.
really do. I really, really do. Maybe I'm trying to manifest something. You feel me? But
Careful.
still,
Manifest what? A production show? What'd you say,
Right.
Seth?
feel me? But
Careful.
still, right. But still,
No, what did he say? Be careful what?
I am quite curious as to why that seems so odd to me
Right, it's a
that
serious
you couldn't do
topic.
anything
Latin, of
in the
course,
state of
I
California
mean,
when a crime was committed against your son during that time.
I will proudly answer this question for you, Trish. I'm confused why we can be understanding and give grace to CP for his extreme bullying, etc. What do you consider extreme bullying, respectfully? Generally asking. Because if you're talking about when he hit Sebastian with the belt, I think that's despicable. But you know what else I noticed? He owned it. He said, yeah, I gave him a whoop with the belt. And he told the school and CPS was involved. When Seth was confronted over his CPS allegations, he said, like a true abuser does, he fell into my hand. I didn't hit that kid. That kid hit me. My hand was right here and he just he fell into my hand. I didn't do anything. So I give a lot more grace to the person that admits to what they did than the person that blames the victim. That's first. Excuse me. Yet mistakes and naivety is demonized if it comes from Seth. You think this is a mistake? You think what Seth is saying right here is a mistake? You think Seth coming out here and telling everybody the trauma of his son so he can say that Chris and Katie allowed it is a mistake? He's allowed to be proud of it. Some people raise their kids that way. There are people right now that want to sign into this whatever it is, 2025 idea, where at 18 we kiss our kids goodbye and send them off to the military. Some people raise their kids this way. I don't. Excuse me 1 minute. All right, moving forward.
It still does blow my mind. But when you
Thank
found
you,
out,
Purple
going
Haze.
back to it, when you found out from Katie Proudfoot at that time, can you tell me where was your mindset? How did that feel?
No problem, Bug. I appreciate you acknowledging you
I
made me.
really don't want to state that in public.
There's been a lot of things said, so I understand it.
Okay.
Absolutely understand
Fair
it.
enough.
My big thing. He just had his innocence taken from him.
Oh, and he just had it taken again, stripped publicly.
It took me a minute to digest.
And it truly amazes me if you watch how Seth is putting all this weight on that shoulder that he just said a few days prior, the doctors told him if he doesn't take a break, he will die. And he's just freely leaning on it. I mean, take a look for yourself. It's a lot of weight.
It took me a minute
There it goes, lifting them up.
to digest. And
Wow.
it took me a minute to figure out the proper way to go about it instead of, someone just hurt my baby.
Do I think Chris is a would I want Chris having disciplinary over my children? No, but I'm also a sucker. I don't believe in corporal punishment. I don't believe in spankings. I don't believe in any of that. So it's each their own on parenting, but there are a lot of parents that parent that way. Just not me.
So
Of course, I get that. And I know that you were
Now this is going to get worse.
when you talked about it the other day. We all saw that emotion. We all know. And I think we also second that emotion as well. If we were in those shoes as well, we would be just as shocked.
there's no apology for my behavior. I got upset. I was mad. I'm exhausted, and it takes a while for me to get to that point. But first of all, I don't like people trying to hold something over my head.
Yeah.
Something that happened under their watch, and he needs help, and we're finally getting him the help he needs. It's late, and now I gotta find him.
Did y'all hear what he just said? I was mad. I was mad. That's why he did it, because he was mad. Because this is, in my opinion, he's a very revengeful person from what we have heard. He has stated that he sought revenge on a mentally ill ex-roommate because he was on his medication and he did something to get them kicked out of their apartment. And almost 5 to 10 years later, I forget which exact year it was, that guy came walking into a pizza shop. And what does Seth brag he did? Spit on his pizza, rubbed it all on the floor, put hair in it, and then sat there and watched that man eat it. And he came back and said, that was the best pizza I've ever had. Can I have a second one? And he was delighted at repeating that story. SF Investigation is aware of the claims made by her, and he said he will be contacting the police today.
You are absolutely right.
Hey, Cash.
So then tell me then,
Hey,
because
Sonny.
I feel like you suddenly out of nowhere, and
I understand that, Sunny Spirit. So Sunny Spirit says Proudfoots didn't air that laundry, but they were blackmailing Seth with that info. Chris Proudfoot literally said he could tell the world something, nobody will look for Sebastian. So if I may, respectfully, I'm going to disagree, Sunny Spirit, because if we believe the word of Seth, it was Seth who said, Chris said, if you tell them, they're not going to look for Sebastian. He didn't say that he could tell the world. That's not what he said. He said to Seth, if you keep putting out our personal family business, people are going to learn what Sebastian may or may not have done. It depends which way you come to your conclusion based on what we're being told, okay? And they may not look for him. Because as you can see, there are people such as Seth that believe that these children should be in jail. There are people like Pascal that believe these children should be in jail. They don't see them being victims. They don't look at what led to it. They just want them in jail. So I believe it was more along the lines of, hey, Seth, at the route you're going, telling people, I don't want him near my daughter. They're going to start asking questions. And if they find out, they may not look for Sebastian anymore. And I feel like that is a very valid fear to have. Thank you, Dick. Dick, I said, Deke. Thanks for going back. Cease not from exploration. And in the end, we'll arrive where we began, but to know it for the first time. Oh, I love that. It sure does. Thank you so much. Again, that's not how that went. He was upset because Seth kept saying shit online, and Chris wanted people to stop asking questions and judgmental people stop looking. Chris didn't want people to stop. Chris didn't want their personal business exploited. He didn't want Sebastian's trauma exploited. He didn't want their fears exploited. I understand it. I understand that fear. And I think, again, if we could all stop looking from a side's perspective, we could all understand. Please don't exploit our child's trauma. Please don't put our family's business out there. It has nothing to do with Sebastian missing. It's not necessary to air out there. Please stop. And here we are, right?
Understandably, I feel like you hit a wall. You got emotionally exhausted. I mean, of course, if I'm putting words in your mouth or emotions in your head that weren't really there.
Pascal, call it what it is. The man just told you that he was angry. He just told you himself he did it because he was angry.
Please stop me while I continue. But I feel like at some point you hit a wall. You were at wit's end. You had enough. You were tired of being diplomatic, tired of being the nice guy, and you said, you know what? F it.
Tired of being diplomatic and the nice guy. Yikes. Missed that part of it. And said, fuck it. I'm not going to have my public image smeared. Instead, I'm going to make sure that I embarrass Sebastian, put out his trauma, so I can get the focus back on the Proudfoots because they allowed it.
I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. Everyone's going to hear this truth because you know what? Because I don't know where he is. And these other two are not supporting or helping me in the search for Sebastian.
I can't believe Pascal's even offering excuses right now. And take a look, right? We just saw Seth the whole time leaning on his shoulder, lifting up all his body weight on his shoulder. But now he's going to, stretch it out. It hurts again.
These other two are not supporting or helping me in the search for Sebastian. Am I
the search of what? At this point, he was searching fucking panels to go on.
anywhere near close to why maybe you started to put this information out for everyone to hear?
Yes. Give any excuse you can, Pascal, for the fact that he just exploited this child. That sounds great.
My son is a victim.
Leaning on that shoulder again. But listen, I'm going to stop pausing because we didn't even get to the actual bread and butter yet, right? What did he call it? The meats and potato? We didn't even get to that part yet. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. And you're all going to be as disgusted as I was.
And if victims don't get the proper help, they repeat because all of a sudden.
I had a lot of people come at me. And I'll admit it. I used the wrong word. They were right. They were right to come at me for the way I phrased it. I owned it. I admit it. I said it wrong. But I'm not going to play dumb or pretend I don't have the common sense to put together what is being stated here because some people are too sensitive to hear it. Because again, this is a true crime topic. It is a reality within our world. And if you can't handle it, then with utmost respect, please exit left right here at this moment. Because I'm going to listen to what Seth Rogers says here. And I'm not going to pretend it didn't happen.
One to hear?
My son is a victim. And if victims don't get the proper help, they repeat because all of a sudden they think it's normal. Son's autistic.
What is one thing we kept hearing him say? My son didn't get the proper help. What is he saying here? This is why Chris said what he said. You can disagree. You can find it disgusting, but I understand. I think it was realistic for him to say it. I think it would be a genuine fear, especially again, when there are people like Pascal and even Seth himself out in this world that believe these children should be locked up for being victims.
All of a sudden, they think it's normal. Son's autistic. And if he doesn't get the proper help, we don't want him to become that. So you do preventive maintenance and you get him the help he needs.
And what was preventive maintenance? We just heard the other day Seth say he wasn't going to place his son back into a school environment until he went through, I believe he said, the ABA therapy.
And there's multiple different ways, but if you're not certified in the proper way to get him help, you're just going to make it worse.
Make it worse. How do you make it worse if you're not certified? How do
Yeah.
you make it worse? Therapy is therapy.
No, I get that.
Thank you, Runs with Scissors.
I fully get that. So then, okay. You had a conversation, a not so pleasant conversation with Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot.
No, Katie, but it doesn't. But it will make more sense as we get forward in this. We will understand it better, okay? It will make more sense. And again, the main reason I'm doing this is because a lot of people thought that Pearl's girl made this up and was sent in as a distractor.
On the phone, it was a heated argument, heated conversation.
He wasn't working Nurserykins.
Chris Proudfoot said something along the lines of, people are asking about why I don't like having Sebastian anywhere near Faith. And if you keep on pushing me, I'm about to air everything out. I'm about to air all this dirty laundry.
That's not what he said, Pascal. And let's hope at this moment, Seth's going to admit that. But see, Mystic Firefly, what I don't understand is if they already aired this dirty laundry, why wouldn't Seth at this moment say, well, they already said it, right?
You like it or not. And guess what? No one's going to want to support or try to find Sebastian. Am I correct?
No, you're so wrong.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Oh, classic. Classic. I'm sorry. What was that? I didn't hear anything you just said. Why don't you just admit, no, that's not true, Seth?
That was a long thing that I just said. That was a lot of work. No, I got you. But I was
reading something. My bad.
Cinder, I understand that. But as we go a little bit further, you guys are going to understand why I feel it is important to why Sebastian was being removed from school. You'll understand in a few minutes. I promise you. We'll get there.
You're good, homie. There's a lot of people here that want to know the truth.
Because that was a classic gaslight. Oh, well, what? I didn't hear any of that. Okay.
Truth and understand what's going on. So I'm going to repeat it one last time. Okay.
Let's get the answer.
So you had
made him. This is the last time.
No. Time out, bro. Hold up. Well, what I'm trying to understand here, so that everyone understands as well, is that you had a not so pleasant conversation on the phone with Chris and Katie Proudfoot. And during this argument or this conversation, Chris said something along the lines of, everyone keeps on asking me why I don't like having Sebastian anywhere near Faith. And I will air that stuff out if you keep pushing me. And guess what's going to happen? Nobody's going to want to look for Sebastian because of his past. Am I correct?
Wow, you cut out there bad.
Oh. Then we already hear that Seth said in the chats they were asking him why Chris didn't want the daughter around Sebastian. Put a 1 in the chat if you think he heard it twice now.
Okay.
But
okay.
Just the way you were saying, sorry, because I lost everything on there.
It's okay.
No worries. We'll move on.
It keeps freezing on my end.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, me and Chris and Katie had a conversation, and Chris asked me, people are asking me this question. If they don't stop asking me this question, I'm going to have no choice but to tell them. Well, now he can sit there and tell them.
But if we rewind a little bit, and believe me, I don't want to because we have a lot to go through. That's not what Seth initially said. Now Seth is just repeating it the way Pascal said it. But that's not what he said earlier, right, Lana Kay? That is not what he said earlier. Completely different situation there. Yikes.
Point in time, I know that I know that his daughter, Faith, FaceTimes with my son all the time and considers my
Oh,
son her older brother.
weird. If they were that worried, if Chris was so worried, would he allow them to FaceTime all the time?
And he considers Faith his little sister.
Right. And you consider
And
Nina
if he's
your
anything
BFF.
like his dad, we're supposed to protect the young ones. We're supposed to protect our sister.
That's
We're
weird.
supposed to protect people.
That's a weird
And that's one of the things I've been trying to instill with him to combat what has happened to him.
Oh. So since I've been instilling in him that we're protectors. No, that's not at all what I think was meant, Tim C. Respectfully, not at all.
Mm. No, I'm still trying to understand a little bit more about this too. Okay. This tragedy happens to Sebastian
Here it
against
comes.
his will. It's not like he decided to have this crime committed against him.
Who the fuck does, Pascal? Why do you say dumb shit, bro?
It happened under Katie Proudfoot's supervision.
Oh, no.
And yet Chris is still trying to hold that over your head as if Sebastian's some sort of monster.
This is so ridiculous, but there you go again. So you called him a predator, now you're calling him a monster. Now listen, tell me if you're with me. If you're not, I understand. But does it sound more like Chris was trying to protect that image or that picture being painted on Sebastian? Does it sound like Chris didn't want people thinking that Sebastian was a monster or a predator? And therefore it'd be better if they didn't know any of this, because if they found out and knew that Sebastian was possibly a predator or a monster, they then wouldn't search for him. Which one makes more sense? Saving his reputation or placing it out there? I think Chris was trying to save that from happening. Chris is protecting, right, Evie? Protecting. Okay. I want to make sure I'm not alone in this. And I will say thank you, Chasen, for always not, dismissing it off because it's ugly.
That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Oh.
This is an innocent kid where this happened to him. So I don't get that part.
Do you get the part, Pascal, where you asked why that other kid wasn't thrown in jail? That he was also an innocent kid? Do you get that part now?
Chris doesn't see him as innocent.
Oh, Chris doesn't see him as
Would
innocent.
be the only thing I could say.
Oh.
All right.
Elaborate.
Honestly, you have to. I know there.
There he goes. There he goes. Wasn't bad enough that he put out Sebastian's trombone, but now he's going to put out just a little bit more. Because remember, Seth says he didn't get the proper therapy.
I know that my son has done some questionable things.
Here we go.
But at the same point in time, he's not understanding what's going on. And nobody.
Here we go. All of you people that act like I made it up, that act like Pearl made it up because you don't want to use your common sense. I'm going to use my common sense today. You listen here. Again, trigger warning. But listen to what is said here. And most importantly, listen to what is not.
My son has done some questionable things. But at the same point in time, he's not understanding what's going on. And nobody's talking to him about it.
So if you know,
nobody's talked to him about it. Well, you said, sorry, son, I knew. But you have to understand, I was taking care of things on my end.
Teach the same things at school that they taught us. Because we had sex education class.
Oh, now they're not teaching sex ed in school. Why don't parents teach sex ed? Listen, I'm a single mom of a little boy. Just turned 12. I've been studying and looking and trying to find a way. How do I approach this for what it is? Because I'm a female. He's a boy. It feels weird. But it's my duty to make sure my son is aware of the changes he's about to go through and that it's normal. It's uncomfortable as ever live in hell. I don't like it. But we can't rely on the schools to teach everything. Learning starts and ends at home. This is the same man that said, it took my son a year to learn the letter S because California schools suck. Where the fuck were you to teach that letter S?
You know, we had sex education. We had human biology. I mean,
Right.
What are you saying?
I don't know what they teach the kids in school anymore.
Why not? You should. Your child attends it.
So,
Uh,
Seth,
go ahead.
Seth, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So, Seth, I got to ask you, when you say questionable things, that Sebastian has done some questionable things, I'm not asking
Oh, Mystic, that's more awkward. I'm buying my 12-year-old condoms. Stop that.
you to go into gritty details or anything of that sort. I got to ask you, when you say questionable things, that Sebastian has done some questionable things, I'm not asking you to go into gritty details or anything of that sort, but I'm wondering, what are these questionable details that would...
Now, I want you all to listen very closely here. Very closely here. Again, it's ugly. We don't like it. And I believe that, Heather. I'm sure full more aware than I even realize.
make Chris not comfortable having Sebastian near Faith? Can you expand a little bit on that?
That's so horrible, Tetsu.
I don't know if that violate YouTube or not.
Wow, did you hear that? These questionable things may violate YouTube's policies. Wow. Hear this again.
Wondering, what are these questionable details that would make Chris not comfortable having Sebastian near Faith? Can you expand a little bit on that?
I don't know if that violate YouTube or not.
Michelle, I am so sorry for your loss. I love you. I'm losing a family blood member, boyfriend, etc. I needed help to cope. I'm sorry. We're hearing this, right? We're hearing this, right? He says it with a smirk, too.
Comfortable having Sebastian near Faith. Can you expand a little bit on that?
I don't know if that violate YouTube or not.
I know, Goody. I'm sure he knows a lot. Himself to others as a learned behavior. Well, he's going to go on to elaborate. That he is going to go on to elaborate. I don't know if that's the case. He implies as much. We don't truly know because, in my opinion, I think Seth is a huge liar. Thank you for the super sticker. But I don't know how much we can believe from Seth. And at the end of the day, I just find it horrible. Horrible that any of this is being stated. But again, it wasn't made up by Pearl's Girl. It wasn't made up by me. It wasn't made up by anybody. His own father said it. And he went as far as to say, I don't know if it's going to violate YouTube. When asked what type of inappropriate things Sebastian would do that would make Chris and Katie fearful to have him around a little girl, he goes on to say, I don't know if that would violate YouTube. I'm sorry if others want to ignore this, but this all came from him.
When he pulls out his wiener in the men's bathroom and you're like, look, this is mine. What's yours look like? I mean, that's...
There you go, Pearl. There's your answer of where that came from.
I don't know if that violate YouTube or not. When he pulls out his wiener in the men's bathroom and you're like, look, this is mine. What's yours look like? I mean, that's innocent kid shit.
It is.
Right.
Innocent kid shit. It is. Kids are curious.
Right.
I was a kid at one point in time.
So why did you imply that it would be so bad it would violate YouTube, but now you're going to say it's innocent kid shit? Because you know there wasn't much. Whatever.
So was I. Last I checked.
I mean, no, I might have been this age my whole life. But
Who has time to joke during discussions like this? I mean, honestly, what kind of person gives off a joke at a moment like this? Exposing this is actual. It is abusive. Thank you. Thank you. It is abusive. Right. That's all he could say. That's all he could say without violating YouTube policy.
But we have sex education classes, so we already knew. You know,
Right.
things weren't. I don't even know. Like when I went to school, we saw pictures of vaginas and penises.
Right. He's worried about violating YouTube policies, but he's not worried about violating his son. Let that sink in. He's worried about violating YouTube policies, but he's not worried about the violation he is putting against his own child at this moment. Oh, we had sex ed classes. We saw vaginas.
Things weren't. I don't even know. Like when I went to school, we saw pictures of vaginas and penises. I mean, it was like, look, this is sex education classes. These are condoms. These are STDs. This is what you get if you have unprotected
Right.
sex.
Right.
You know, this is part of health education, and I mean, I don't even know if they teach that stuff in school anymore.
Well, Seth, I have a few questions. As a father of a child currently in school that you yourself states are having these unknown issues, because he's unaware of their issues, why aren't you finding out what the school's teaching? Better yet, why aren't you teaching it? Where does Seth's responsibility as a father ever step in? They allowed it to happen, but I allowed them to keep custody. I didn't fight for custody immediately. The therapist wasn't a properly trained therapist, but I didn't find a new one. The school's not teaching sex ed, but I didn't teach sex ed. At what point does the responsibility fall back on his shoulders as a father?
I mean, they used to teach us financial stuff in school so that we knew how to balance checkbooks, take
No
care
doubt.
of.
Oh, but you learned how to balance hiding that money from the IRS.
I don't know if they teach this stuff in the schools anymore.
Find out.
I know my son hasn't. I've been helping him with history. Last time I was helping him with homework.
Oh, the last homework you helped with was history homework. So therefore, you know their school's not teaching it because while history has nothing to do with finances or sex ed.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, at the end of the day, it sounds like normal behavior from a regular kid that's going through changes and growing and going through puberty. And
No. You know what? You guys can get mad at me all you want. I don't care. And it's normal for a child way younger than the age of 15, but he didn't elaborate what age. Well, let's not normalize it that at 15, it is normal for a child of any sex, boy, female, whatever, to say, here's my private areas. What's yours look like? That's not normal. As younger kids, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's a little more normal. Curiosity is normal, but not of teenage years. Okay. It's not. Let's not normalize it, Pascal, please.
at the end of the day, it sounds like normal behavior from a regular kid that's going through changes and growing and going through puberty and all those things. That's what it sounds like to me. Wouldn't you say?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Nope.
So I am kind of curious. Go ahead.
I don't either.
He has an issue with personal space, as Chris has pointed out.
What's that mean? Why say that after that? What does that mean?
But like he has that issue with everybody.
Right.
When he wants, it's like, son, you need to stay back just a little bit so you can be, because the closer you get, I'm going to ask you to brush your teeth.
I'm going to ask you to brush your teeth. People were so mad that Katie mentioned like armpit smells, but they don't give a shit that this man just said his son's breath smells so bad. I mean, come on. Just get real.
Yeah. I totally understand that. Sounds like an innocent kid to me.
Once again,
if you ask me, sounds like an innocent kid. So it doesn't make any sense that he would be like.
It sounds to me that we know Seth spoke to Nina all the time, right? They're actually BFFs. Matter of fact, we found out that Nina is going to write a letter on behalf of Bullhorn Betty in the courts. How do we know that Seth didn't say all these things to Nina to get in her head to create a fear of allowing Chris to have visitation? Could be.
Like, oh no, like this, like Sebastian has some sort of leprosy or something like that. I think that's a little bit extreme.
He's
But
the one painting this picture.
we do need
not
to talk
Chris.
about this, and I appreciate you being here to clarify a lot of this, etc. One of the other things, though, too, after everything that happened, she called CPS on the child's family, and all that during that time. Why wasn't there? And I know a lot of people have asked,
What more could Katie have done as a mother than to call CPS, call the police, and get her son into therapy? What more could she have done? What did she miss out on? What did she do wrong? Now, what does Seth do?
ask this question. Why wasn't he taken away from that home at that time? Why couldn't you take him? Why couldn't you take him?
Good question. If you know that they allowed, you think I'm threatened by you, Nick? I'll see you soon too. You can more than welcome, Nick. Do what you got to do. You think I have any fear of what you're going to do? Just know I'll reach out to every fucking organization the same way you did. Ain't afraid of you. You think you're going to silence me from playing your own buddy's words? Came from his mouth, didn't it? So here's the question. Why didn't he take custody? If they were so absent, as if they're so horrible as parents, why didn't they take custody? Great question, Pascal.
Why wasn't he taken away from that home at that time? Why couldn't you take him? Why couldn't you take him?
We were still in the middle of the divorce.
What does that mean? What's the punching bag mean? Did you just threaten me? Just threaten me, Nick? Do it again. What does that mean, Nick? Elaborate. See, you might have people on YouTube thinking you're a big shot, but I know as well as you know that everybody, including yourself, that you associate with is not a big shot in this county. And that's for fucking sure.
The divorce hasn't settled yet. This didn't happen.
They run around talking about threats. Does anybody else take what Nick has put in my chat on repeat as a threat? Because I feel like that is a threat. You just told me you're in my town. Now you're putting punchy emojis. I feel like that's a threat. Yep. Definitely a threat. So who's threatening who? Why are you trying to distract from this conversation, Nick? You got a problem? That's the real him. Well, you got a problem with this conversation being played again? Don't fucking threaten me.
After the divorce, this was happening during the divorce.
Yeah, find your parole officer, bitch.
So this happened during the divorce.
And when I brought it up, I was, instead of being the worried father, they turned around and pretty much said, you're the hateful ex-husband.
Right.
Oh, that's what they said to you after your son was abused?
This happened during the divorce.
And when I brought it up, I was, instead of being the worried father, they turned around and pretty much said, you're the hateful ex-husband.
Damn, that's what the police said about him, the hateful ex-husband. No, I want everybody to see for yourself the threats that are taking place. These are the real threats. You guys are out here saying Nicholas was wearing a dress and, the Proudfoots are threatening people. Now you put a fucking punching emoji. You can try to change it however you want. You threatened me is what you did. You threatened me.
Right.
Continue with your threats.
So let's talk about that for a second. Now, I know that there's been a lot of paperwork, documents that were.
Why are you doing this anyway, Nick? Honest question. Why are you doing this? There's another threat. I take these as threats. I'm glad they're all documented. Already recorded proof that is your channel. Why are you doing this? Why are you distracting from Sebastian with all these, threats and we're going to do this and we're going to do that and all this legal action? Why? If this is about Sebastian and it's all about finding Sebastian, why? Because somebody disagrees with your perspective on a case you came into 7 months later, are you threatening everybody? Why can't everybody's come together for this child? Instead, it's this big circus act of lawsuits and cease and desist and all these things. Why? How is that helping Sebastian? By trying to silence everybody who's been out here, keeping his name out here? That's gonna what? It's gonna do nothing. It's gonna do nothing but get ready to silence people that are bringing awareness to his name. I haven't done anything to cause legal action, Nick. You ain't threatening me. Nothing I've done is anything you can take legal action on. Not one of it. Playing this man's own words as legal action worthy? Get the fuck out of here.
Leaked out here in these internet streets, describing you as just painting you in not a great light, for lack of a better term. And it all has to do with how you were handling your relationship with Sebastian. Okay, for lack of a better term. Can we talk about that a little bit? Because I know that there's been a lot of people talking about that. Some people side-eyeing, etc. Is saying, oh, you know, Sebastian was in a bad place no matter where he turned, so on and so forth. And I just wanted to air some of that information and just kind of lay.
He was in a bad place no matter where he turned. CPS reports coming from here, CPS reports coming from here. And the minute he disappears, instead of coming together, like initially said back in April, no, it has to become sides, right? Seth's side, the Proudfoots side. Where's Sebastian in all of this? Who's actually looking for Sebastian? It's ridiculous.
Lay some of that to bed. What's up with that paperwork? Is any of it actually true? What
if any of that was true, California would not have given me joint legal and joint physical custody while I was homeless.
Oh, I will be. Don't worry about that. I want revenge like a stepdad with belt, and my ex watches her nose too. How about you? If you're in a situation with ex, I'd be angry too. The minute I found out, I would have went for custody. I'd be angry too. I'd be angry back then if I found out they allowed something like this to happen. I would have went for custody then too, full custody.
Best thing they did was keep me in the child's life because I was able to find a place. He was able to come over. He was able to come to my house.
Mm-hmm.
I was paying. I was renting a room. I mean, you've never lived in California, but when I was there for a 1-bedroom studio, you're looking at $2,400 a month. I don't make that even out here as a deputy sheriff.
Okay.
But what does that really have much to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything?
Interesting. So those allegations.
You know what I find to be the most ironic? This is what I find to be the most ironic. This stream started out showing why there shouldn't be sides, where the sides came from, and who's actually doing what and where. And look how it's ending, with my point completely proven. It's like unbelievable, isn't it? Fucking sides.
That were
fucking sides
in the paperwork.
So much.
You never raised your hand to him or anything of that sort, or any of the other.
She hit me. Okay, she hit me with the domestic violence. Was Sebastian told I hit him in the head?
I thought it was a threat,
now,
Cheesy. Listen to this.
She hit me. Okay, she hit me with the domestic violence. Was Sebastian told I hit him in the head? Now, this whole day, and this took place in one whole day, from the morning until it was time for me to go to bed and time for Sebastian to go to bed. Sebastian had 2 things he needed to do: clean up his room and make his bed. And then I was going to take him swimming. Tit for tat. You do this, we'll go swimming. My son likes to go swimming.
Let's hear this story out. You do this, you'll go swimming. Listen, here's the end all be all of all of it. I have done nothing that would warrant legal action. Nothing. There is not one thing I have done here that would even warrant legal action. I won't be like barbecue. I won't make a GoFundMe. I won't be doing any of that. There is nothing that you could get me on for reporting on a missing child's case and replaying his father's own words. Nothing.
So let's, make the bed, clean up your toys, get them
That's
all
where the
off
threats
off
are,
the floor,
Amberly. We saw it.
and
Saw it here today where the
we
threats
can
are.
go swimming. Like 4 or 5 hours had gone by. I kept checking on him. He wasn't doing it. I was reminding him. And then I go back down.
Who's trying to control who? Who's threatening who? Who's doing that?
Stairs. At that point in time, I was really big into computer games. So I'd play computer games, turn around, wait 30, 45 minutes, go back upstairs and check on him again.
He's playing video games. He has Sebastian up in a room, supposed to clean his room so he could go swimming.
Just me and him in the house. And he's upstairs. The last time he's upstairs, I walk up.
No, you know what, though? Jokes aside, coffee addict, Nick shouldn't have any problem with me. He shouldn't have any issue with me. His issue is that I don't buy that Seth is completely innocent. But I've also stated throughout all of my coverage that I don't think he's guilty of Sebastian's disappearance. I've also stated several times that why would the Proudfoots or Seth Rogers admit if they did anything wrong? Why would they admit it to YouTubers? And yet everybody's out here fighting on quote unquote sides for strangers we don't know. For a truth we don't have. For a child that's still missing. So pathetic.
There's not a single toy in any of his bins. They are all over the floor.
I was just threatened.
Now,
Blueberry. I feel very threatened.
There's Legos, there's building blocks, and Hot Wheels, action figures, everything all over the floor. My son is also stripped his whole.
Not only do I feel very threatened by the fact that he's putting punching emojis in my chat, immediately after acknowledging that he's in the same area as me. Yeah, I feel very threatened.
Hot Wheels, action figures, everything all over the floor. My son is also stripped his whole entire bed. A blanket, sheet, comforter, even the fitted sheet for underneath there, and his pillowcase is off of his pillow, and he's butt ass naked. Playing on the Wii. I saw this and I was like, okay, walk to my room.
You saw this, but you didn't see red, right? He didn't see red. The child's up there supposed to be cleaning a room. Instead, he's doing complete opposite, making a mess, and he's now undressed playing the Wii.
Put on my swimming trunks, grab my beach towel. You're not going to clean up your room. You're not going to make your bed.
No, this isn't in current time. This was years back again, back in California. So he's just a youngin'. He's 5, 6, 7, 8. We don't know the exact age, but he's little.
You're not going to get to go swimming. And I was going to prove the point. I went and got ready to go swimming.
I know there's no legal standing on me.
He saw me walk by his room in my swimming trunks and my beach towel.
I do like the fact that we were just told that barbecue's now backing down, right? I like that. I like the fact that we know there's still a GoFundMe to raise money, but we hear that she's now trying to make a deal with them. And what is that deal going to be, Nick? Do you want to come up and tell us what it's going to be? Is she now going to be part of the team again? She now back in good standing with all of you? She's now going to push that agenda? Is that the only way to stop you from seeking legal action, is if people push the Seth narrative? It'd be so great if the Proudfoots came out and did the same shit to all the people you guys named as quote unquote team members, right? That'd be great. To admit that you're going to use a missing child's case to push fraudulent lawsuits against people in an attempt to cause them financial strain. Oh, that's something to be proud of. And again, for what? A little bit of internet clout? Fucking weird.
And he was like, I want to go swimming. And I stopped and I turned. I looked at him. I looked at the floor. I looked at his bed. I was like, none of your toys are picked up. None of your bed is stripped completely. And you're butt ass naked playing video games. And he went to throw a fit and came across the floor, stomping his feet. And he stomped on a Hot Wheel. And he lost his balance. And I put my hand in the door frame. And his head hit my hand instead of the door frame. My son has a pocket of fluid on the.
Do you see where this difference lies? So while yes, Chris is a piece of shit that took a belt to a child that is not his, Chris also admitted that he took a belt to a child that is not his. He admitted to being a piece of shit and beating an autistic child with a belt. He admitted it. This guy is Sebastian's fault for falling into him.
The right bilateral part of his brain. I don't want him to get hit. I'd rather him hit my hand than the door frame. And he did. So then I went outside. Katie was already home at this point in time. And I went and jump in the pool and do some laps because that's what I was using for exercise.
So I just left my son, who just hurt his head, was having a tantrum naked, and went swimming.
And Katie was out at the smoke section with all of her girlfriends. And Sebastian put on some clothes, ran outside, and told her that I hit him.
You just said Katie was home at that. So wait, the child was left home alone? Hold on.
Katie in the door frame. And he did. So then I went outside. Katie was already home at this point in time. And I went and jump in the pool and do some laps because that's what I was using for exercise. And Katie was out at the smoke section with all of her girlfriends.
So this little guy, this little guy with these disabilities, right, is inside this home by himself.
And Sebastian put on some clothes, ran outside, and told her that I hit him. She turned around and filed, because we were in the middle of the divorce, still living in the same residence. She turned around and
It did change quite a lot.
using child abuse, domestic violence, and had a move-out order issued, and they served it like 3 days later.
Now, what I saw in the DVRO, which again is a divorce, people say shit, right? They do. Let's be honest here. But what I saw, I didn't see anything to the head. Hey, Allison. I saw marks around it. A photo of a child's neck is what I saw. I didn't see anything different. Hey, Mickey. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. And then that's when you got basically kicked out of the residence?
Yes.
Am I correct?
He did.
That is correct.
So that's how it all happened. But
That's
then
how I ended up living in my car, trying to figure out how I was going to make ends meet.
wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
More than 2 months of not seeing my son.
So you lived in the car. These allegations were written in paperwork, these legal documents during your divorce and during this messy custody battle.
Mm-hmm.
The court did their investigation and all of this was unfounded, and you were still able to get 50-50, right?
Well, in California, they don't give it 50-50. It's joint legal, joint physical.
Which is 50-50 ultimately.
There is no
Okay.
percentage on the amount of time.
Wow. Okay. But you still got custody.
Correct.
Still living
Because
without.
All right, so it was joint. So there's no like set amount of time. There's no like you're going to get on 50%, you're going to get him 50% because he just says here he went a few months without seeing him.
a residence. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Because I was homeless living in my car. They gave her custodial custody. She was still active.
So she had custodial custody. Yes, the judge says Seth was a danger of being at home. He was ordered to leave within 72 hours for the safety of Sebastian and Katie because the judge agreed with her evidence. I didn't see the judge's finding. I only saw the DVRO papers.
Duty military. She was getting BAH and everything else, so that helps her keep a residence over her head.
What was she getting?
She was still active duty military. She was getting BAH and everything else, so that helps her keep a residence over her head.
BH.
Okay. 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 And of course, still, no matter what, you still have custody over Sebastian.
Here's the thing. Who just said that? Gypsy Trails. Here's the thing. If this was really about finding Sebastian, they would have came in with an unbiased view and just went and did that. And the fact that that didn't take place, and instead they're out here threatening legal action against anybody who even so much as plays Seth's own words, says a lot more. Why not stop and listen to this? He wasn't around at this time. He's probably not even aware of this interview. Why not listen to it in an unbiased way, get rid of the quote unquote sides, and put Sebastian first? There's a lot to be heard in this. Just like you'll pick apart Chris and Katie's interviews, do the same here. At the end of the day, all three of them failed in one way or another, and that's fact. There's no denying that. But the one big change that was set to come was Sebastian was meant to go live where he didn't want to live and go end up doing online schooling, which he didn't want to do. All he wanted, right? We've heard from both sides, all he wanted was friends. All he wanted was to fit in. That's a huge change for a child with autism. Enough to make one run out of the door. Thank you, Angel Sleuth. I'll put it towards my legal fees.
And still to this day, I understand that you worked your tail off to move out to Tennessee from California, move your residence, everything, just to be closer to your son. And of course, all that paperwork is unfounded. All those allegations were unfounded, right?
And when she stated she was moving to Tennessee, I wanted my son out of California because.
Did I say he ran out the door, Tammy Strong? Or did I say it's enough to make a child, especially with autism, run out the door? Which one did I say, Tammy? Because this is part of the issue. People hear what they want to hear. I said it's enough to make a child. I didn't say he ran out the door. Never said that. I don't know what happens.
Right?
It's part of the damn problem, man.
And when she stated she was moving to Tennessee, I wanted my son out of California because at this point in time, they had just passed a law stating if there was a 10-year difference between the two people. There's a lot of laws that they were passed.
They passed a law if there's a 10-year difference between two people. What does that even mean?
California, because at this point in time, they had just passed a law stating if there was a 10-year difference between the two people. There's a lot of laws that.
What law was that? What does that even mean? Yeah, dog did say he went out the back door, to be fair. I mean, again, none of us know.
They were passing in California that I just don't think are right. So
what does that even mean? Where does that play of relevance? Oh, is this back to the age difference? Oh, Exactly, incognito. But especially like when I never said he went out the front door. I don't know what happened. Thank you, Cash. I don't understand what they're doing. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get how any of this is going to help find Sebastian. None of it.
When she said she wanted to move to Tennessee, I didn't have a problem with it. I wanted my son out of California.
Okay. Do we know anything about this 13-year-old boy now? I mean, I know he'd be like 20, 21, give or take, if he really was 13 years old. Do we know of anything, his whereabouts, etc.?
Nope.
Wow. Okay.
I knew his first name. I didn't know his last name, but hopefully somebody's watching him.
Thank
Make
you.
sure that I'm hoping that he got the help he needed.
Yeah.
Wow, Jay, that's crazy, man.
Me too. Hopefully he's not continuing on, right? Okay.
Hope not.
So let's get into this because Katie Proudfoot put up a statement. I just wanted to put it up here so everybody can see it really, really quick. She put this up last night. If I'm correct, this was, of course, after you had
This is in response to what Seth said.
the interview and dropped that bombshell of information about what happened to Sebastian when he was 7, 8 years old. Of course, she kind of put in a whole bunch of information about, as much as she says, I'm not trying to do a back and forth. This seems a bit like a back and forth in my personal opinion. But she did say a lot of.
This seems like a back and forth, her responding and correcting the ages. Seems like a back and forth now.
Things in here basically saying that she was quick to take him to get checked, quick to get him therapy as well. Is that true? Or
Here's
no?
my issue about that. Even if she did.
No.
Or
Here's
no?
my issue about that.
You said she didn't.
Even if she did, what was going through her mind when they were? Why wasn't she checking on him?
But you said she didn't. So I don't think there's now a if she did. I think it's important that you said even if she did, but you already said she didn't. So she did.
It happened under her watch.
Oh boy.
Not saying you have to be a helicopter parent or
Yeah.
I think somebody pointed out that nowadays they call them drone parents. But there's nothing that states that you can't turn around and be ninja and check on your kids.
Mm.
I still check on my son. I check on him when he's in his room. I check on him when he's in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my job, it does not stop.
But you also said that he would be alone while you were at work. Which part, Jay?
Why wasn't she checking on him? It happened under her watch. Not saying you have to be a helicopter parent or
Yeah.
I think somebody pointed out that nowadays they call them drone parents. But there's nothing that states that you can't turn around and be ninja and check on your kids.
Be ninja. What does that mean? Like secretly checking on them? Be ninja.
I still check on my son. I check on him when he's in his room. I check on him when he's in the living room.
Just a little bit ago, we heard about him being left home in the house while throwing a tantrum.
You know, my job, it does not stop just because he's got a year older.
That I agree with. That Weezer, that I agree with. But I do think it's important.
So after all this, she continues saying some more things, of course, talking about how how Sebastian was seeing a psychiatrist, a psychologist.
I like how Pascal gleaned right over the part about, the age difference. He was not 13.
Just due to the trauma from apparently the trauma that you inflicted upon Sebastian.
Right, Laurenki.
And of course, what happened from this 13-year-old kid. Do you have anything to say about that? Because that seems to be a bit wild that she puts that out there like this right now in this kind of fashion.
How's that wild?
She can put out whatever she wants.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Then she also says something about being banned from the base because of violent tendencies.
because I stood up and I told the doctor that she wasn't helping my son get over what happened.
Mm.
And if I decide to raise my voice, people kind of take it as violent.
Notice how he reacts there by raising his voice. That's what they took as. I mean, to be fair, to get kicked off base is kind of easy. They don't play any type of games, but
I'm making a point.
He's making a point by screaming at the psychologist that she's not licensed.
You know, did I put my hands on anybody? No. Did I threaten anybody? No. Did I stand up and raise my voice? He's my son. He needs help. He needs the proper help so that he can actually go into society.
So he was on base at the time when this all took place. He was on base with Katie and kicked off the base for raising his voice.
Not thinking that this type of shit is fucking normal.
So he was kicked off base. Hey, Aaron.
Should have never happened to him to begin with.
No, it shouldn't have. And it shouldn't be out
Shouldn't
there.
have.
Do I blame her for that shit? Yeah, it happened under her watch. If it happened under my watch, I'd be blaming myself.
Mm-hmm. Blame yourself for not being there.
I already blame myself for some of the shit that's happening. Hindsight's 2020. I can't go back and change it. If I could.
Well, isn't hindsight 2020 for her as well? You know what I mean? Like, I love when it comes to him and his accountability. It's like hindsight's 2020. Well, hindsight's 2020 for her as well. Therapist that Sebastian was seeing if he wasn't seeing one. Also, years later, Sebastian was shocked. You knew, but you were yelling at his therapist. Great points. Like, holy hell.
Lord help me. I would. I'd go back to Baxter Springs, Kansas, and tell her to carry her ass to California. Send me the paperwork.
What does that mean? Wait a minute. What is he saying here?
If I could, Lord help me, I would. I'd go back to Baxter Springs, Kansas, and tell her to carry her ass to California. Send me the paperwork.
What does that mean? Can anybody decipher that? Go back to Kansas, tell her to carry her ass to California and give me the paperwork? Hey, Jet, what does that even mean?
I ain't playing this tit for tat. This ain't a war.
Well, you kind of made it one. And here we are. Here we are. Right? Just a few months down the line, and it is a war. A ridiculous war. Where you're all putting yourself before Sebastian. Coming in here with punching emojis and threatening that you're in my town and I know where you live and you're next. They're threats. It's a war. Of what? Adults against adults? Where's Sebastian?
It's not whoever wins gets Sebastian. The whole point is to find Sebastian. He's missing.
I understand that. And I'm with you 100% on that. Because I feel that all this information that came out, the bombshell, obviously the information that you gave a couple days ago on the show, obviously opened up a whole new can of worms.
Ridiculous,
of course,
man.
she is, if this is really her responding, if this wasn't written by Chris or written by AI. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Why would it be written by Chris or AI?
I was going to say, let's make this clear.
Go ahead.
Clear.
No, I was just going to say, let's make this clear.
Oh, yes. Let's make it clear.
Make what clear? What? This is getting bizarre. I don't even know what's happening
So
anymore.
whether this was written by AI or Chris Proudfoot, or if this was actually written by Katie herself, no matter what, these are some serious allegations to put out here after.
Well, they're
putting
not
out
allegations. It's fact. Not only is it fact, but the sheriff's department already knows.
I agree, Weezer.
Of course. What I mean by what I'm saying is what she's saying, not you. We know that what you're saying is bad.
So even Mrs. Taco said he put his hands on Katie at Express Scripts. And that's their friend.
Backed up by facts, which I am kind of curious about that as well. Do we have paperwork with the CPS call, the call to the CPS with the 13-year-old, so on and so forth, the therapy, etc.? Do we actually have solid evidence of said thing, aside from you telling law enforcement, local law enforcement right now about this?
So you want CPS documents when both parents admit that this trauma took place?
Situation?
local law enforcement knew about it.
It hasn't been a month,
Previously.
Betty Crocker. It's a shame.
Okay. So then
Fucking
let me
shame.
ask you this then. Okay, let's get straight to it. What really is the dynamics between you and the Proudfoots? Let's be honest here. Because I know that you've been very diplomatic, and I commend you for it. Seriously, you've been a strong ass soldier throughout this whole thing. I feel like you've been holding down so much.
Hey,
I feel like
Blissful.
you've had a lot that you've been wanting to say. And I'm not sitting here saying for you to unearth everything.
Look at him hate mongering, right? Tell us how you really feel about Katie. Let's just trash her. Because it wouldn't have been better if all the parents had worked together for Sebastian's sake. What a shame.
But what I want to fully understand honestly now that this is cat's out the bag, y'all, okay? I really want to know what
This was on 5/5. 5/5 this took place.
really is the dynamics between you, Katie, and Chris Proudfoot. Honestly.
Yeah, Rex, they are.
I'm Seth Rogers. They're the Proudfoots. That child that they can't seem to say his name. His name is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers.
That's I kid you's not. This is the first time I heard Sebastian's name throughout this entire interview. 56 minutes in.
He is my son. I named him.
Mm,
I haven't gone back to court.
okay.
I want him to come live with me.
He was going to.
And I was getting what me and him wanted. He wanted to live with me. I wanted him to come live with me.
Well, wait a minute. That's not completely true. I mean, we know that's not completely true because it's over here. Give me just a second. As I point out many times on this panel, it was discussed. Where's the sound? Sorry. I got too many tabs open.
Chris, unbeknownst to you, had already talked to Sebastian. He knew this wouldn't be a permanent thing. And me and
Unbeknownst,
him had already spoke.
This is for the record. I'm not going to tell you what he does and doesn't do at his father's house. Those are two separate households.
okay.
You know, Sebastian is one way at our house. He's a different way at his father's house.
Okay.
That is something that we've all had mutual respect on, all the parents together.
Can you
That I know why I was putting him in online school. He needed his therapy.
Oh, right here.
looking forward to going to live with his father?
Yes, I did state that.
Seth, did you know this?
Nope.
Chris, do you want to elaborate?
And I'll tell you why.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will be glad to elaborate.
Become a question.
Hold on, Chris, hold on. I'm sorry, Seth, start over. And then Chris, we'll go to you. Seth, go ahead.
That I know why I was putting him in online school. He needed his therapy to actually have been started with ABA, so on and so forth, before I put him back into the situation, because he's not ready for certain things.
Okay. So he was going to go.
I'm not going to set my son up for failure. I want my son to succeed.
That's fair
He's going to
enough.
homeschool until he was ready to go back to regular school. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. And it's not really homeschool. I mean, it's just online school.
Okay. Online, right. Online school. That's a better term. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said homeschool. Right. Online
Yeah.
school.
Let's clear this out.
Okay. Go
If
ahead.
we
Chris.
want the facts, let's get the facts straight.
Okay.
So yes, I did tell you Sebastian was not excited about going to his father's house because online school.
Online
Seth
school.
was aware of this because Seth stood in my house with me, Katie, and Sebastian in my kitchen and had this conversation where Seth asked his son about, you don't want to go to online school? And Sebastian's retort was, no, I don't. But
Okay.
I don't really care about playing tit for tat. I understand that this may be a reason why he wanted to run away, so to speak, if that's the case.
Right.
But we're not going into this. We're not going to play this tit for tat on social media. We're not doing this.
Okay, Seth, go ahead.
Chris, unbeknownst to you, had already talked to Sebastian. He knew this wouldn't be a permanent thing. And me and him had already spoken.
Well, that right there is a conversation you should have had with Katie and myself about what your plans were.
I'm sorry, do you want?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
What Seth was saying is that if I had known the conversation that him and Sebastian had, then I would know the whole thing. But the downside is that's where Seth should have had that same conversation with me and Katie.
So just so we're clear, he's not quite being honest over here.
He wanted to live with me. I wanted him to come live with me.
Right. So why would the Proudfoots make him disappear? Why would Seth make him disappear? If it was all set that he was going to go live and each person was okay with that, why would either side make him disappear? The only person who was not okay with that was Sebastian. He's the only one.
And now he's missing.
Did
Doesn't
Katie
make
have a
sense.
problem with the
I mean, think of it logically, right? If we say, oh, well, Chris did it because he wanted custody of his daughter. Well, again, that's going to harm a custody hearing. It's going to harm your chances of getting custody of that child if a child disappears from your home. If we say, oh, well, they did it because they didn't want him anymore because they wanted the daughter, that also doesn't make any damn sense because he was set to go live with them. They were set to get rid of him. So it wouldn't make any sense that would now change. And then if we go, oh, well, he made him disappear, that still makes no sense. Each parent was getting what they want. The only person who didn't want it was Sebastian. So who's to say, as I said from the very beginning, that Sebastian didn't overhear something on the phone that night between Chris and Katie during their alleged 3-hour phone call that made him run out the door upset, not thinking he'd be gone long, not thinking at all, just overwhelmed and upset. And gosh forbid if he got lost and went the wrong direction, if he ran into somebody, who knows? But it could be that simple. But instead, we're blaming all these other people. We're blaming Seth. We're blaming the Proudfoots. They could all be innocent. What is the purpose for all of this? I'll tell you again what the purpose is. It's to keep a divide. It's to keep teams. Team Seth, Team Proudfoots. That's what it's for. Because it keeps you all hyped up each and every day to come back. If you create enough hate and you feed on that hate, you're feeding the content. And that's exactly what we have witnessed from the beginning. And we all say it. We all say, poor Sebastian, he's in the background. Nobody's talking to him. Nobody's thinking about him. But we've all played a part in that.
the fact that Sebastian wanted to live with you? Yes or no?
You'd have to ask her.
You didn't get any vibe from her at all whatsoever from the many years that you've dealt with her since the divorce and since the custody battle was all settled. You never got any vibe from her at all that she felt a little perturbed or jealous over your relationship with Sebastian.
Yeah, Baldy.
She has made comments along those lines.
Like,
talk to your son. He thinks you walk on water.
Well, why is that a bad thing? Talk to Sebastian. He thinks you walk on water. Why is that a bad thing?
He won't listen to me. Talk to him.
But Seth himself, like right here, he won't listen to me talk to him. But Seth himself admitted that he was punishment. That he was the disciplinary. That a year ago, he was going to take Sebastian, but he said, let's give him time to get his act together. I think that's what's missing from all of this. I think both sets of parents have failed to acknowledge that the reason Sebastian was going to go live with Seth was to punish him for not acting right in school, for being inappropriate in whichever manner. I'm not just referring to, you know, a sexual manner, in any manner. And they all are withholding that because it doesn't look great to the public to admit that he wasn't this easygoing, perfect child, that he had difficulties, which is so relatable.
Now I
Well,
understand.
help it that I can communicate with my son.
Mm.
I mean, I was a stay-at-home parent.
That's what I'm saying, Wendy. That's what I've been
I
saying.
bottle fed him.
Wait, what?
Parent.
Yeah.
Help it that I can communicate with my son.
Doesn't help that I can't communicate with my son. I thought he talked to him Monday through Thursday, every day after school.
I mean,
Unless he
I was a
didn't
stay-at-home parent. I bottle fed him. You know, before pull-ups, I changed his last diaper. I changed his second. I didn't change his first one. That was the nurse. Open that up, change his diaper. Sebastian peed all over the nurse.
Hmm.
Like, take that as a warning. You know, I changed his first diaper at
He changed that several times too. He knew at that moment it was his son. He told him, go ahead, son, mark your territory. Now he's saying, take it as a warning. I don't care, Amy. The guy's a clown.
out of the hospital. You know, I am still the same person I was when she married me years ago. When she divorced me, I'm still the same person she divorced. Only now I'm a dad. Before I wasn't a dad. My responsibility is not to her, it's to Sebastian. She divorced me. She doesn't get any of the courtesy that I give to others. I try to be diplomatic with her, and most of the time I am. But when I get an attitude from her, I will give her one back.
Now, this is what I love about it, right? Nick thinks it makes sense to dox somebody's relative. So, Nick, now what I'll be doing is I'll be digging into your family, okay? That's what I'll be doing, Nick. You're one to talk when you have much worse charges against you. You tried framing the fucking government. You owe over a couple million. You know what? Let me get a hold of SF because I'm not playing these games with you. Matter of fact, I'll be reaching out to all the same companies that covered your article the first time and make sure they're aware of what you're doing this time. That's what I'll be doing. It's exactly what I'll be doing. You ain't posting nothing new. That's why we call ourselves the melon felons over here. Guess what, Nick? I'm a felon just like you, but you're still on parole. Ain't that funny? Keep going, Nick. You're making your buddy here look really good. And we'll see how good he looks when I reach out to the same organizations that you are to bring awareness and let them know that this is what Seth Rogers is doing to anybody who covers his son's disappearance. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Let's see when they find out what this man's up to. You're fucking despicable. I know exactly how you move. I know exactly how you troll. And I'll match you right at it. No, you know what he wants? He wants social
This wasn't to start a fight.
He wants social media acknowledgement, but he sure as fuck doesn't want the whole public knowing. He don't want Delaware County picking up on what this guy's doing again, does he?
This is not even a fight. Which I think is the funniest thing is
Oh,
this is not a fight.
I will be.
If she wants to make it into a fight, she can. She's gonna be fighting herself. Not me.
Coming in here threatening me over this piece of shit on the screen. How dare you? How dare you? No, he ain't in here. They're all going directly to his parole officer, too. That's where they're going. I'm not one of these people. I'm not playing your game. I'll tell you right now, I am not playing your game. You are sadly mistaken if you think you're going to intimidate me, dox me, or threaten me into anything.
What was the relationship really like? What is the relationship between
Matter of fact, I'll tell you exactly what I'll be doing. That ride I told you all we were going to be taking, we'll definitely be taking it. We'll definitely be taking it today. Play with
mother and son? From the outside, of course, you're not God, you're not there behind closed doors. But what was that dynamic really like between Katie and Sebastian? Was it tight? Was it loving? Can you give us a little insight on that, since now we're finally hearing some more information now?
But who's the ones being threatening, right? Who's the ones that they're trying? Who's trying to silence who? Who's trying to threaten who? Yeah, let me tell you, BJ, you back this shit up and I'll be putting out your boyfriend's record too, bitch. If you're all going to sit here and you're going to support the doxing of these motherfuckers because of a quote unquote team, then get ready for the doxing wars, because I'll play it too. I'm not fucking playing with any of yous. You are more than welcome to, Jackie, because I'm not playing. I'm done.
The diplomacy, the diplomatic is thrown out the window. Can we hear a little bit of some truth?
You know what? I'm going to wrap this up because we're going to take a nice little ride. I'll see you all back here shortly. We're going to go on a field trip because I'm not playing your fucking games. One thing you won't do is intimidate me for doing nothing wrong. I'm not doing it. See you all back here shortly.